All right, welcome back to Ask a Scientist Gaming, where we combine mediocre gameplay with expert-level science. I am your special guest host today, Professor Justin Kennemer, of the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry at Florida State University. I like all things macromolecules. I like taking small molecules and turning them into elastomers, plastics, and things of the like. But more importantly, joining with us today is someone that needs no introduction, the creator of Ask a Scientist Gaming. But why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself anyway?
Hello, everyone. I'm Ken Hanson. I'm associate professor in the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry at Florida State University. I am a photochemist. I really like light interacting with molecules. I don't care what kind of molecules. It could be polymers. It could be transition metals. It could be organics. I don't care as long as they're doing something useful. We basically want to take photon energy and drive chemical reactions. And so, yeah, that's what my research focuses on. But more importantly, today I'm actually acting as a guest as the chair of the Graduate Admissions Committee. So basically, whenever somebody applies to a graduate program, there's a committee of people that want to decide, who should get in, who shouldn't, who should get fellowships, so on and so forth. And this year I was imposed upon to become the chair of graduate admissions.
I know the feeling.
And so, yeah, we're doing a Q&A particular to graduate admissions. Any questions you guys have related to that, I am very happy to answer them.
Equally important, what video game are we going to start with today?
We are starting with an all-time classic on the SNES system, and that is Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Excellent. Any special story behind this game and this choice?
I mean, this was my brother and I, we both saved up for, you remember back, we had saved up 2 years to get a Super Nintendo or a Sega. And I got a Sega, he got a Super Nintendo. One of the games he got with the Super Nintendo was this guy, which is Zombies Ate My Neighbors, which is one of the all-time classics. It's like an arcade game, overhead shooter, amazing characters. I think you'll have fun if you haven't seen this game before. It's re-released for the Switch if anyone wants to play it. So, let's dive right in.
Yeah, dive right in. I'm already getting compliments about my hat. That's good.
And that is Lori.
Oh, hi, Lori. Good to see you.
Bronco, welcome back. You don't need graduate admissions advice, but it's good to have you.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the stream. So yeah, this is Zombies Ate My Neighbors. So the goal, save your neighbors. Kill the zombies.
Okay.
Find doors.
Guess they're pretty distinguishable.
Yep. So yeah, this game is hard as hell. I'm not going to lie. I'm playing right now with Game Genie on, infinite lives, infinite bullets. I'm cheating a whole bunch. But for SNES, this was pretty amazing graphics back in the day.
Excellent. So I'll let you get kind of warmed up here.
Totally Not Eugene is in the chat.
Yes, we have Totally Not Eugene. I don't know who that is.
It's not Eugene.
It's definitely not Eugene. And then, so what we're going to be doing today is, we'll probably start off with just some general factoids about graduate school. And then please, if you have any questions, feel free to post them into the chat room. I'll do my best job at collecting questions and getting to them in a fairly timely fashion. And then we're here for you. So any questions that you might have about the graduate school process, about how applications are managed or handled or reviewed, just anything goes, really. And we're happy to provide any insight that we have in the process for that. And so, Ken, you look like you're getting some zombies and getting comfortable in here. So maybe you could start off by just giving a brief introduction towards the admissions process and the application process, how it works, and what they can expect if they're going to apply to graduate school this cycle.
Yes, Cuddle Puppy, I have been demoted to guest status. I could no longer stand the sound of my own voice as host. No, we have a special stream where I'm going to answer questions about graduate school, graduate admissions, and that starts with the admissions process. And so basically, when you're a senior undergraduate student and you're thinking about the next steps in your life, one of those steps could be to graduate school, to pursue a master's or a PhD. And so rather going into industry, you decide to go to school and further your education. And so what you basically need to do is done your grades, you passed your classes, you're going to get a bachelor's degree. And then after that, you're going to try to get a PhD. And so step one is applying for graduate schools. So basically you look up different graduate programs and you're going to submit an application. And so the deadline is typically going to be And I think all of them are the same window, right? It's like November,
Yeah.
December, somewhere in there. Usually December 1st or December
around
15th.
now till the end of the year, right?
Yeah, and you're going to apply. And so part of that application package is several things. It's going to be your CV, 3 letters of recommendation typically, which we should discuss later. I think it should be 2. But beyond that, you're going to have like your CV, some kind of cover letter that says, I'm really interested in science. I had a bad semester. Here's why my grades changed. Here's who I want to work with in your program. And then what else? That's everything. We don't require GRE at Florida State University. In fact, most programs are getting rid of their GRE requirement, which is excellent. It shouldn't exist anymore anyway. And so you're going to submit all those to the program. And then what's going to happen is a committee that's composed of people like Justin and myself is going to get together and say, okay, we can only admit this many students. Which students out of the ones that applied can we admit, or do we want to admit to the program? And so after that process, you'll get a letter saying, hey, congratulations, you're admitted to the program. And then you're going to, in chemistry, we do visitation weekends. I think most programs do this, depending on the nature and tier of the program. The visitations will vary, but for us at FSU Chemistry, it's you show up for 2 days, you get to see the department, you get to see Tallahassee, you get to meet with faculty, talk with students, and then ultimately decide whether you want to go to grad school here. And so at FSU, our visitation is February and March every year. And then the decision ultimately has to come from you, and that's April 15th is the decision deadline. So you decide which one of the schools you visited that you actually want to go to. And so that is it.
And Lori made a great point that the GPA and your transcripts are also reviewed to make sure that you've taken the proper undergraduate education to apply to chemistry department for a PhD, and also the university sets metrics as well that are non-negotiable. So the university needs to have the full application reviewed and make sure that all the documents are there as well. So. Pay attention to what each individual department requests with regards to the application, so that yours doesn't sort of sit in limbo as an incomplete status or something like that, right?
Yeah. Also, personalize your cover letter for each university, like name particular people in each program that you'd be interested in working with. Don't say I'm excited to apply to UF when you're applying to FSU.
Yeah.
Generally rubs people the wrong way. I don't care that much as long as you come and join us, but yeah.
Yeah. And I'll say this because I get a lot of emails like this. A student will inquire about primarily joining the group. And what I end up doing is I reply back and I say, the proper procedure here is that you need to just apply broadly defined to the graduate program and be accepted as a graduate student first before you then join the actual program and begin to explore different research groups. And we do that on purpose because there's a lot of research groups in our department and a lot of departments, and so we really want you to get exposed to all the different research when you join the department before making that ultimate decision on how you're going to spend the next 5 years of your life on average for grad school.
I will do an absolute shameless plug for FSU. We've dissolved our disciplinary boundaries. And so in our program, you're not accepted as an inorganic and you have to join inorganic. You have to do inorganic classes. We just accept you to the program. And so you get to do rotations and decide where you want to go, which I think is awesome. I'd much rather do it that way.
Yeah, so I think that covers a lot of it. Thank you, Lori. So letters of recommendation. This is interesting. As an organic professor, I am constantly asked for letters of recommendation for med school, and it needs to go away because, basically it's the same kind of letter. Student X was in a class of 300 students, and they did well, right?
Yeah. They were ranked this, their GPA was this, or
you could have learned that by looking at the transcript.
Yeah.
And then with COVID, there was no room to even get to know them in office hours very well and all that. So, it's an interesting, thing that I think could be worth revisiting.
Yeah.
People that have the power to change these things.
I cannot remember a scenario where the third letter mattered. Like, does that third letter make a difference? No, I'd advocate for 2 letters.
Yeah.
So for you guys applying, the biggest letter you can give us is the one from your research advisor or some senior level instructor that you're very close with.
That's right. Yeah, someone that can actually comment more about you than just like how you performed in a class.
Yeah,
Right?
if they can have a sentence or a statement about, this student came across this problem and here's how they troubleshoot it, that is worth way more than any, they were ranked this in my class.
Yeah.
Like, it's really important. That's going to be your most valuable letter. So I'm trying to find neighbor.
Any international students that are online watching? Lori has posted a link in the chat room that's probably pretty valuable regarding additional qualifications that the international students are required to achieve, including the English proficiency score, because you will be teaching in your first semester as a graduate student, and then the TOEFL and the IELTS. So check that out if you're international and joining us from afar on probably a very early in the morning time zone. Or yeah. So yeah.
Oh man, it's 4 a.m. in Europe. So
yeah, exactly. That'd be some really dedicated fans there.
Yeah, but everyone's welcome.
My native language is dog.
Thank you, Cuddle Puppy.
You didn't even have to look at who that
No,
was.
Cuddle Puppy is our quintessential troll of the stream.
Oh, good. Good.
Maybe apply for grad school. We'd like to see you at FSU. Oh yeah, now I get to fight clones of myself. One thing I like about this game is the selection of weapons. So this is the 6-pack of exploding soda. You can throw tomatoes at people.
So maybe we'll get the ball rolling on a
Prediction.
prediction. Yeah, let's see if I can not mess this up.
Yeah, just make sure to set it for 2 minutes. But
Okay.
those of you not following us, click the follow button. You'll get something called standard internet units, which are imaginary internet points for our stream. And they are useful for anything outside of the stream, except in the stream you can do things like request a factoid or make us drink alcohol, which we're happy to do. But also you can use them to gamble and answer questions correctly and, be proud of the answers you have. So yes, we just got to follow. Thank you, Andrew the Beast, for the follow. Use your internet points, and we're going to put a prediction up right now.
Do you have to choose what the correct answer is on the thing beforehand?
We'll do it after. So click start prediction.
So we're going to start a prediction, and this prediction is predict the number of graduate schools that Ken Hanson applied to. And so the options here are greater than 5 or less than 5. So we know it's not 5. So there you go.
Is it greater than or less than? And there's no possible way you guys can know the answer to this unless you see something from my Zombies Ate My Neighbors gameplay that helps you figure out an answer. But it's kind of fun nonetheless, and it gives you context into every one of us has a unique story, right? Some of us applied to a lot of schools, some only a few. Yeah, you should copy those. Yep. It's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah. These just rolled in while I was doing the prediction.
Eugene whispered me the answer. I don't know if Eugene knows the answer.
All right. So I'm getting your questions. I'm managing here, and then we'll get this prediction squared away, and I'll get to these questions.
Yeah, shout out to Justin, who has agreed to do this despite never using Twitch before, other than to be a guest on the stream. So now he's playing with predictions and questions and emotes, and you haven't played with the emotes yet. And that's the highlight of...
Oh, yeah. Emotes.
Is random hotkeys he gets to play with.
Ask Ken questions. There's the silver-haired question marks. There we go.
Silver. Way assumed that my hair has always been this color. Like, that's fair.
Okay. How do I know when the timer's up for the prediction?
So
Still going, I
that
think.
purple progress bar. So you guys have about 20 seconds to answer the question. If you're not familiar, click the predict button at the top of your chat. You can gamble as many internet points as you want, depending on your confidence, which is kind of a fun meta, question. I would love to write a test like in Gen Chem where they can do confidence-based betting, but where is my...
Uh-oh.
What happened?
I think we've got a drink request while this thing is ticking down.
Oh, no. Take a drink?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he was asking what the drink is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
Bronco, thank you for asking.
yeah. Since you're the guest, you got to choose the drinks today.
I did. And so this is one of my favorite heavy drinks. It's called the Guillotine. So Justin, cheers.
Cheers.
Bronco, thank you for joining us. Hopefully you guys have a drink in hand, learning about graduate school and the graduate school experience and playing video games. So cheers. This is the Guillotine. It's black label scotch with some mezcal plus some banana liqueur, and it's a delicious. This is my favorite drink.
Scotch. There it goes, down in my throat.
This is going to go downhill quickly because of this drink, because it is sweet and smooth, and you can hardly tell it's 50% alcohol.
Okay, the timer on the prediction has run out, and then does it auto do the rest, or do I have to like show the answer?
So you have to choose outcome. So that
Choose outcome, yeah. And then
the answer is greater than 5.
greater than 5. So Ken way out applied me. That's on the previous year's YouTube video if you want to check that out.
Would you do 3, 4?
I did 3, yeah.
Yeah.
So how many much more than 5? Like a lot more than 5?
It was 8 total is what I went for. So it's not off the wall number. It was one of those. I applied to like University of Minnesota because I'm from Minnesota. I did an REU at Notre Dame and REU at UCLA, so those were all guaranteed. And then a few others here and there, and ultimately I went to University of Southern California. So yeah, of those 8, I was accepted to 4 of them. 2 of those were because I did an REU there and they knew me and the advisor accepted me. I was conditionally accepted to University of Minnesota. So yeah, I was one of the last acceptances there, but USC, they accepted me outright. So
Hey, you know what they call the last person accepted into grad school?
PhD.
Doctor.
Exactly. That's important to note though. Like as long as you get into grad school, you're starting from scratch. Like guess how many people asked me about my undergrad GPA after I got into grad school? Like other than fellowships, it's nobody, right? It's nobody cares. So it's all about what you get done, the papers you get. Once you're in grad school, you're starting over from scratch.
That's right.
So, yeah.
So
one thing to note about applying for grad schools is it does typically cost. And so I think FSU, it's what, $35 for our application. Lori would know that for sure.
Yeah, it's somewhere around there. And I think we did receive a question way earlier that was about whether or not how required that was. That's one of those things that you're not going to make it past the university application process cut line if you don't pay the application fee. So that's governed by the university, and you need to have paid that for it to matriculate to our department and then be viewed for consideration. So,
yeah, we would love to waive that fee, but the university has to pay for the people that process these applications, and so they mandate that a fee has to exist. So we apologize for that.
So getting some questions here. So I'm going to start with Abil Girden, who asked, my name is Abil Girden from Ghana. Welcome from Ghana. Wow, that's
What time is it in Ghana
I
right
don't know.
now?
That's pretty far away. And I attended a school that uses a CWA system of grading. So please, I would like to know how I could convert my CWA into GPA to see if I meet the criteria for FSUs. This is Lori.
Lori would know this.
Yeah. So this is something that we very much pay attention to with international applications. We know that there's different grading scales and procedures from different universities. We have people like Lori who have done a great job sort of converting these scores. And I'm not sure if there's a website or something that helps do that. If there is, maybe Lori could share that in the chat where you could potentially enter in your CWA score system that you have and have it converted to GPA system. You might be able to just type that into Google and find it, just like you type in like pounds to ounces, right?
Yeah. No, I know we definitely do that conversion, so it should be readily available somewhere.
So what's nice for us is that we have really great people helping us, and then when we get the applications, things like that are already converted into the format that we need to see for sort of the GPA-based system. So hopefully Lori will maybe have something that she can say in the chat room. Keep an eye on Lori Ann 22. That's the one. That's Lori. Everyone can say hi to her. And all right.
Hey, hi, Ken.
Bye. Good night. Good night.
We have a pause for children saying good night. That was cute.
Sorry.
You should have lifted them up.
Say goodnight to them.
Okay. Not bad. Just got told off.
Yeah, she told you.
Yeah.
What did we learn?
How dare I?
How dare you?
Okay, so I think we got a question from potentially one of my Orgo students.
Oh man, let's do it.
You said this morning that grad school pays you to go there. Can you explain more about what you meant by that? Ken, you want to field that one?
Yeah, no, that's one of our easiest ones because everyone's familiar with med school where you come out of school with like $100,000 in debt. That is not the case for grad school. In fact, you get paid to go to grad school. It's not a lot. It's a living wage. At FSU, it's $25,000. Cost of living, that's not unreasonable for the area we live in, but you also don't pay tuition. So we cover the tuition of our students. And so, yeah, you get paid to go to grad school. You don't have to take out loans unless you want to live baller in grad school. Wouldn't recommend it. Live in lab. That's a better way to do it. But yeah, you get paid to go to grad school. And what's amazing about that is you're getting a PhD. And so you're getting paid to get a degree to ultimately increase your value and your worth and net gain. But you get paid to do that, which is pretty amazing.
Well, that zombie's got your number.
Yeah, they don't do well with rockets.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's probably one of the more overlooked, surprising secrets about graduate school in chemistry that, it always surprises me that more don't know that. Is like, as opposed to some other touted career options where you would definitely go into a considerable amount of student loan debt, you can literally go get a PhD in chemistry for free. And actually, you get enough to live. You're not going to be buying sirloin steaks every night, but you're able to get by, and that degree will get you six figures. And right now, I think employment for chemists is unbelievably good.
Yeah.
Like everyone's just getting hired immediately after they graduate right now, because a lot of jobs are opening up, because I think a lot of people retired over the COVID spell. And so it's a very employable profession. If you enjoy it, you want to take the plunge on that.
Yeah, I didn't know until I was a junior in undergrad that you got paid for grad school. I just didn't even know that existed. So yeah, by all means, I'm glad we can share that information. No, the tuition is covered in addition. So Lollipop Head, welcome. But yeah, you get paid $25,000 and then you don't pay anything for tuition. Like that $25,000, that's your money to do with as you choose. Oh man, we're on to giant baby level. Are you ready for this, Justin?
I think so.
I don't think you are.
I don't know what I'm getting myself into.
Nope, just a giant baby, that's all.
All right, collecting some more questions here. Thank you for all the questions and participation. That makes it a lot easier to fill the air. So I hope I got these in order. My name is Kareen from Nigeria. I did my undergraduate studies, and this is Kareen 22. I did my undergraduate studies in English, so English proficiency can be waived for Nigerians as on the website. Okay, yep, I agree. And I would like to ask if you can still have a graduate assistant position without the IELTS or TOEFL.
Yes. I think as long as it's waived, it's universally waived.
Yeah, I think that's right as well. And so, international, for example, doesn't always mean that the concern about English proficiency is there. There's I think plenty of international countries where English is taught as a part of the education, as a main language or sub-language. And so those schools are outlined, I think, in the application process of being potentially exempt from things like speaking and English proficiency.
And Reese's Pieces brings an important caveat here. Not every school you apply to will have a tuition waiver, a TA position, so you should only accept schools that pay you. Yeah, you should double check that depending on the tier of the program. Most top 100 chemistry programs, I think it's pretty much guaranteed you'll get full salary, but there are some that don't, or you'll only get 9 months salary, or you'll only get certain RA positions. So look at the fine print and see what they actually offer you rather than
Yeah.
You know, what might be promised or what is possible, see what actually is in the contract.
Absolutely. Lollipop Head, little Lollipop Head, I'll go ahead and answer your question real quick. Yes, the tuition is covered in addition to your stipend. So you get the $25,000 as a salary, and also tuition is covered on top of that. Right? So the only thing that you do have to pay out of your own income are the semesterly fees, which are nowhere near as large as tuition. I think it's a few $100 or something like that at this point.
And that like covers your gym membership, and I don't know.
Yeah, it gives you, it's basically a fee for all of the like amenities that the university gives you for being a student.
Free tickets for games,
and like the circus and,
the
and everything.
circus,
Yeah, there's so many, and yeah, because you're considered a student. You're a graduate student, but you're still given all the privileges that an undergraduate student is given: gym, tickets to sporting events, tickets to the entertainment events, discounts all over Tallahassee if you're a student. So it's a pretty good deal. Okay, so Elodia Main says, "Hi everyone." Hi Elodia. Her name is Misa. And she wants to know, what's the TA program like at FSU? Do students generally enjoy being a TA at FSU?
Do we have any students that TA in chat?
Yeah.
I know a few of our grad students might swing by. Justin and I have never TA'd at FSU. We TA'd our own experiences at USC and University of Minnesota, but my impression is students generally like it. It depends what professor you TA for. For me and Justin, obviously, it's an amazing experience, and you learn everything you need to know. Others, it's more challenging, more time. But yeah, it really depends on what class and what the responsibility is. But we try not to overburden our students. Like, we make a conscious effort to not overload everyone with too many hours, too much work. TAing should not be a burden. It should just be what's necessary to get the job done.
And I often tell my students it's an opportunity as well, especially, they come in, if they're going to work for me, they've decided that they like organic chemistry and that they want that to be a part of their research. And for most students in their undergraduate, they take organic in their, sophomore year, right? Maybe their junior year. So when they come to grad school, they're a few years removed from having that general organic chemistry course. And so I find that a lot of the students really benefit from taking the TA role seriously, learning how to teach organic chemistry, which ultimately is the best way to learn it. And then they really, lock down their fundamentals from that class by being a TA. I think it improves them as the fundamental or going forward to build the advanced stuff on top of, right? So. Yeah,
we're going to be honest. We didn't actually learn chemistry till we had to teach it. Right? Most of it we forgot. We jumped through hoops like everyone else. The other thing to note in this at FSU, at least, most schools you have to do a qualifying exam of some kind or an oral defense, and you have to propose an idea. The people that fail those don't fail because they can't, derive Forster equation or show Schrodinger particle in a box math. It's because they can't answer general chemistry questions, like just the really basic things that every chemist should know. That's where we red flag a student. We're like, why don't you know this? And so if you take your TA duties seriously, you can learn those things by forcing yourself to teach them. Where am I going?
Absolutely. Yeah. Eugene disagrees with the particle in the box being something that's not fundamental knowledge.
Said the bee chemist.
Reese's Pieces has joined in. If you guys didn't see that in the chat, thank you for putting some insight in here. He enjoyed his time as a TA. The work balance between graduate studies and his TA duties was manageable, and so it gave him some valuable teaching opportunity. I mean, to be honest, when a student starts to get towards the third, fourth, or fifth year and they can see the light at the end of the tunnel and they're trying to get the critical data that they need to get done to graduate and put a thesis together, at that point, if they should be cooking pretty good in the lab, and they're a valuable asset to research, and they get put on RA so that they can be as maximum productivity as possible. And so, in an average progression across grad school, you'll TA a lot at the beginning, and then you'll earn your role as an RA as you become a senior member of the group and really start to, be productive with that role.
Reese's Pieces. I didn't know you were a math student. Do you have a professor you could recommend? Sorry, I'm hijacking this.
No, that's fine.
Recruit for,
it's in your nature.
Ask a Scientist Gaming, but I still haven't had a math professor on. We had a music professor on before a math professor. So Reese's Pieces, if you have suggestions of math professors that would be on, like, email them to me, because I do want to have on a math person. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, welcome back, Reese's Pieces.
Back, and Cuddle Puppy has trolled us with some Reese's Pieces knowledge here. I don't know if I want to read all of that, but they are peanut butter candy and Hershey Company, 1963. So thank you for that, Cuddle Puppy.
Dropping knowledge bombs on Ask a Scientist Gaming.
Yeah, I think I got all the questions that I have copied and pasted here.
Did you get the Twitter one, the early one? First one, go all the way down.
That's the bottom. I'm at the bottom right
maybe
now.
At the top. I'm just walking.
Was that the one before we started?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one about whether or not
we can waive fees.
We can waive the application fee.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, we covered that.
Okay. I don't know where I'm going. Where is this?
So, from a progression, have you beat this game? I'm assuming you beat it.
I have with Game Genie. I cannot do it without cheats. But way back in the day, we beat it. Speedrun record is 30 minutes. Not do anything close to that.
This part looks a little bit like a nightmare.
Yeah, no, all of this is a nightmare. You got the little Chucky dolls. And the hard part about this game is these bad guys are indefinite. You can't clear them out. They just keep coming.
Okay, so thank you, Eugene, for keeping me on check here. So, Dola Pocolapo, thanks for the question. Do you need to secure a potential advisor before admission?
At FSU, you don't.
That's right.
At least at FSU Chemistry. Engineering programs, it can be different. It'll depend on nature of the program. But FSU, you apply to the program, you get accepted to the program, and then in the fall of your first semester, you're going to do something we call rotations, which is basically you're going to spend time in 3 different professors' labs, 2 to 3 different professors' labs, and you're going to find out which one you want to work for. And so, yeah, you don't have to secure a group. On your application, you're going to suggest who you might be interested in working for, but you're not tied to those individuals in any way.
Yeah, yeah. And I do get a lot of emails where the context of the email comes across as, will you accept me into your group so that I can join the graduate program, right?
Yep.
When really it's the reverse, at least for our department. You have to be accepted into the program before you then begin the process of touring and exploring different research groups. And so, we can answer questions like, do we predict that we'll be accepting students into the group next year? And oftentimes the answer is yes. I mean, all research professors are looking for, enthusiastic new students to join their lab. It's just about whether or not, does the application get accepted? And then when you come to FSU, am I still your top choice? You might get to FSU, see the 33 plus different research faculty that we have that do all sorts of different things and really find a passion for something that you didn't even know was there. And that's totally fine. So we don't overcommit as far as accepting students until the actual process of coming here has started.
And I would be very hesitant to any program that makes you pick an advisor before you arrive, because you don't know, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what the culture is. You don't know day to day. Like, that's why our visitation is so important. Like, coming to FSU, seeing our facilities, seeing what's available, seeing the different research groups and what they're interested in and what they do and the tools available. It's really important.
So Lollipop Head has a great question.
Ooh, I got a football now.
So when you're reading an applicant's research statement that they provide, or a personal statement, what do you look for when people state their research goals? Do you look for specific research projects they want to do, or is a general idea of their research interests okay?
General interest and enthusiasm are the big things. Because, I mean, if we're going to be honest, you don't really know how to start a project from scratch. And no one in grad school expects you to come in with an idea that you can pursue. Like, sometimes it happens, but in all honesty, people that join my group, I want them to pursue my research agenda or within the umbrella of my research. And so, no, I don't think any program would expect you to have a proposal written. If you do, more power to you. Like, I'd be impressed to see a proposal that was, you know, interesting and worthwhile. But yeah, it's not an expectation by any means.
That guy, 416. Thanks for the question. After the application deadline, how soon do you let the applicants know if they have been accepted?
Oh man, our first admissions go out in December 20th, something like that. It's a pretty quick, at least domestic applicants. It's like December 20th. International, we typically wait till late January or mid to late January. And that's our first round. And so we got to do some very meticulous calculations in terms of how many people we admit versus how many people we can, you know, take in our program. And so sometimes we wait till later to admit additional people. But yeah, earliest is January 20th and mid to late February. Latest is March, I think. It goes late as
March. So it's a process. And I think this is a good opportunity to promote the idea of when you look at application websites for different departments, they might have like an early application deadline and then maybe like a later on like drop dead application deadline. I really recommend that you get your application into the early deadline because that is basically the first wave of acceptances comes out of the applications that met that early deadline and are being reviewed earlier than the totality of applications that come in before the last minute deadline. So definitely get your application in as soon as you can once they're available to be submitted. And then if you haven't heard anything, don't be disheartened by it, because again, we do have limitations on, and we have to do some very kind of guesswork math about the number of students that we try to admit versus the number that we predict will come. And these different things all compile together into creating a class that's not extremely too big that we can't handle or extremely too small that doesn't suffice to give us the graduate cohort that we need. Okay, so it's, but yeah, January is when the early acceptances start to go out and it matriculates through the year.
Oodles of Omics, thank you for the sub. We always appreciate your support. It helps our drinking habit and our recreational video gaming. So you don't have to support us. If you're going to, I recommend using Amazon Prime. Give us Jeff Bezos money rather than yours. But yeah, we don't need the support. We do this out of the goodness of our heart, but we do appreciate it. So thank you for that. And also, always pipetting. FSU Cell and Molecular Bio also does rotations. I didn't know that. Ecology and Evolutionary Bio require securing a professor.
Okay.
And those are all in the umbrella of biology, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm learning things about FSU here.
I think the main thing to learn is that, there might not be a blanket answer for every department, and it really might be a good idea when you're deciding on a department to make sure you ask these questions to them as well.
Read the fine print.
Yeah.
So the disclaimer we'll give is all the answers we have are our knowledge of FSU chemistry admissions, and also I guess the programs we applied to 20 years ago or so. Yeah.
Absolutely. So Vex 3234.
Vex, welcome to stream. Thank you for the first time chat.
No need to leave with an apology. All questions are accepted here. For someone that's an undergrad bio major that wants to get into research in chemistry at FSU, what would you recommend?
Apply to our program. I mean, as long as you've taken like organic biochem, general chemistry, hopefully maybe some analytical, maybe some PChem, we've accepted biology students to our program. And that's, I've said this over and over, I've never tested it, but I'll take an enthusiastic English major over a lazy chemistry major. Because I got 5 years to train you to be something better than that. And so, yeah, we've accepted several biology majors, some people, like math with the chemistry background, things like that, that's not off the wall.
That's right. And just in case you were asking about wanting to do research as an undergrad, I've got several different types of majors as undergrads in my lab right now. I've got a business major doing research in my lab right now, and she's doing fantastic. So, I don't know if your major, again, kind of what Ken said, your major doesn't really define your capability as a researcher, as long as you're enthusiastic and willing to work to on the craft to do well. And of course, the advisor has to have space or room to accommodate a new undergraduate, but the best thing you can do is just email the professor and see, what's going on. Yeah.
Totally not Eugene.
Yeah, he's keeping me in point.
Yeah,
he's doing a good job.
Thank you, Eugene. Well, he's got moderator status, so he can ban hammer.
So we should have done like a 3-person thing here, because then you'd have the chair, the past chair, and the past chair.
That's true. So Justin is we didn't mention this, but Justin is the previous chair of graduate admissions, and Totally Not Eugene is the previous chair of admissions. Yeah. So you have several years, and we've all been on the committee for like a decade now. So
don't say that.
No, it's
so
true.
Old. Yeah, getting there.
It's happening.
Eugene can't talk, and it's killing him.
Eugene, you're a 5-minute drive away.
This is true. He knows where you live.
Rotate in, yes.
Yes, the trifecta. That's right.
The trifecta.
All right, let me go into the question pool here and see if we can dig something up.
But yeah, if anyone has questions, throw them in chat. I promise we'll get to them. If we miss them, re-chat them again.
Yeah, don't feel free to, you can already tell that I might miss a question. So feel free, if I haven't gotten to it, repost it. I will see it at some point, I guarantee. So, what made you decide to go to grad school? I mean, this is a question I think a lot of undergrads might be asking themselves. They could go into industry and they could get a job and make better money than they would as a graduate student. And so really what inspired you to want to go take that next step and sacrifice 5 years of your life for less pay?
I would frame it as a sacrifice, but I get it. But this is one of my favorite questions on Ask a Scientist Gaming for every guest, because we all have so different paths. Well, the very few of our colleagues just said, "This is what I want to do." Right? It's always a journey of some kind. For me, I changed majors 4 times as an undergrad. Exercise or athletic training, then exercise science, then biomedical science, then chemistry. And so I transitioned to just deeper and deeper knowledge in fundamental, like, atomic building block of things. And so when I finally fell in love with chemistry, it was actually organic chemistry. One of my professors, Mark Meckelkey from St. Cloud State University, as well as Dan Gregory. I did research with Mark, and I did organic chemistry class with Dan Gregory, and I fell in love with organic, and I did an RU program. So I spent the summer at Notre Dame doing research on solid state synthesis with Slavy Sivov, and it was like, this is what I want to do. Ultimately, I didn't want to do solid state chemistry, but I love doing research. And it's like, if you want to do fundamentals, not necessarily applied, your best place to do that is academia rather than industry. And so I really fell in love with that idea. And yeah, that's why I applied to grad schools. And my area in particular, I'm a photochemist. I love light matter interactions. And I learned about Mark Thompson's work on organic light emitting diodes, and I'm like, yes, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to make glowy molecules. I want to put electricity across them and make light emitting diodes and organic electronics. So yeah, convoluted journey. I didn't learn that you get paid for grad school until I did that REU. Like, I learned it from the grad students there that you actually get paid to go to grad school and you don't have to pay for it, which is kind of crazy. That you can make it that far and not know that information. So hopefully we're enlightening anyone that's in the stream. There we go. I don't even know what level I'm on.
So Ken, Korean 22, if your undergraduate research does not align with any faculty research work, I'm assuming grad school is the question.
Yep.
What advice can you give on how to align with their particular work on your statement?
It doesn't have to align. I mean, grad school is your opportunity to try something new. We're not hiring students because their skill set, because even if you work in my area, you're honestly you have to relearn everything in grad school anyway. You have to relearn new instruments. So I don't, like I said, I don't care what your previous experience is, as long as you're enthusiastic, you're excited, you want to do research that we do, like, let's do it. And so you can convey that information in your cover letter. You can say, I was interested in this, but now I'm interested in, materials chemistry, and that's what I want to do. I'm particularly interested in Ken Hanson, Justin Kennemer, and Joe Schlenoff, right? You can list who they are. You can also say why you're interested in them. And so that enthusiasm will take you far as us interpreting your application.
All right, we have a take a drink redeem.
It's about time. Who was it?
It was Roser 1029. Thank you.
Roser, welcome to stream. Cheers.
Cheers.
Use your internet points wisely. Make us get drunk while playing video games and talking graduate admissions. There's a high level of professionalism, as you can tell from Justin's hat.
Exactly. Yeah. This is going to be my thing now. It appears I might be a regular on this thing. This is going to be my thing. I'm going to do the fun hat.
You're going to be the hat guy.
Yeah. Next time, different hat. Still fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it.
So, all right. We got to get a bit of a drama question here.
Wow.
I'm not sure if I know how to answer this. We'll see what you got. Oodles Omics would like to know, there's a guy rotating in the lab that we do not want to join the lab. I guess it's a collective thought. How do we bring this up to our PI, and should we be blunt or just suck it up?
Oh, I would be blunt. I would convey those concerns. In fact, my group, the Friday before accepting any students to my group, like, students do their rotations, they submit a form to Lori or the graduate advisor, and then they compile a list and they send it out to faculty saying these students want to join. Before I accept anyone, I have a meeting with my students to specifically ask, how are they work ethic? How is their science knowledge? Is there any red flags? Is there anything I should be concerned about? And so your group it's your culture, it's your life. Like, this is no joke. If somebody's going to join and it's going to screw up your life, it is worth vocalizing that to the professor. Ultimately, they get final say, but it is worth giving your 2 cents, because at the very least, it'll be I told you so 3 years later when they get kicked out of the group or whatever it is. So, yeah.
That's absolutely right. Same thing here. It's a culture. I have a very diverse group of people that do research in my lab. Things like red flags, like people that say something maybe disrespectful or something that is not in line with our values in my group.
Like sexism,
I want to know about it. Yeah,
like,
I want to know about stuff
happens.
like that before making any decisions on that student. So. If something has concerned you for one reason or another, and it sounds like it might be a popular opinion of the people that are in the group, then that's something that I think your PI would be receptive to knowing about.
Yeah, and honestly, depending how far you went, you should have a collaborative relationship with your PI at some point, where it's like, they value your opinion, they value your insights. If that's not the case, what's the worst they say? Like, I don't care. So you still want to express it.
Yeah, and if maybe you're a young student in the group, you don't want to shake trees just yet, but there's a senior student that feels kind of in the same vein that you're thinking. Maybe the senior student could go with you, or you guys could approach it as a group type of thing, if that's a better way for you to want to do it.
Just want to point out, I'm getting destroyed by giant ants.
Okay, that guy 416 wants to know, how many graduate students does a PI usually have under them?
We knew these numbers at one point. At FSU, it's like we average 4 or 5 grad students apiece.
Sounds about.
With my 2 additions, I'm at 8, and it'll be down to 6 in May. I don't know what you're at.
I'm at 6 right now. I'm looking for a postdoc. So
if anyone wants to apply for a postdoc position,
I'm going to repost this ad. I tried earlier, and it was a bad time to post postdoc position. So I'm going to be reposting that. Anyone that's already in graduate school that might be looking for a postdoc position in polymer chemistry, that keep an eye on kennemergroup.com.
So there's a Twitter handle. It's something like Chem Postdocs or something. That's where everyone posts the jobs.
Yes.
You found that?
Yeah. And there's a lot of postdoc positions available right now.
Yeah. Did you tag them in your?
I don't think I did. So I learned a few lessons on my first round through. I haven't applied for a postdoc. Or
Chem Jobber is another one. Just tag those 2 accounts, and generally you'll get views at least. Yeah, the world has changed since we were young, hasn't it?
Yeah.
the Twitter.
Yeah. So Alodia Mane has asked a question that I know that you were going to want to talk about anyway. So it's a great segue here. She wants to know, what are the lab facilities like at FSU? Do you share equipment between departments?
Yeah, we have some of the best equipment in the Southeast United States. And I'll say that unabashedly, like I'm insistent on that. We have, 7 NMRs in the department. We have 2 single crystal X-rays, 3 powder diffraction spectrometers, mass specs galore. My big thing is spectroscopy. I think we have arguably the best spectroscopy suite in the Southeast United States. Like, it's amazing. You can do anything like ultra fast, slow spectroscopy, steady state, time resolved. I love it. And so what's nice about FSU facilities, and you can put a link in if you want to find.
Yeah, the facilities.
You can give put that link in chat. But like our user facilities, we have full-time staff people that maintain those instruments. They're also the ones that troubleshoot. They're the ones that train, and they are absolutely priceless in your research progression. Like you don't understand how much time it saves you when an expert's just like, here's why your measurement's not working. Here's how you fix this instrument. And we have those. We have several staff people that maintain and troubleshoot, and it's absolutely amazing. Yep. With that said, we do have individual equipment in our labs. Like my group has a UV-Vis, fluorimeter, potentiostat, solar cell testing, because that's what we do. But we also have shared facilities that are amazing.
Absolutely. And the fact that they're maintained by staff, again, like you said, is
another one.
Oh.
Cheers. Oodles, thank you for joining us as usual. Cheers, everyone. Great
questions too.
Hopefully you guys have a drink in hand. I know it's Wednesday night, but...
So I put a link to the facilities site on there. You'll notice that it's not just research facilities. We have things like a glass blower. We have a machine shop. These are extremely valuable
electronics shop
facilities. Electronics shop. We can get creative with a piece of glassware that ChemGlass doesn't make, that we want like an extra neck on it or an extra port that we can eject reagents through. Our glass shop expert can blow any piece of glassware that you can come up with, and the machine shop can make molds. They can make different parts and items for sampling and measuring and all of that. So
yeah, and it's no joke. Like you come to them with a drawing on a napkin and they'll figure out how to make it. Like they are really good at the stuff that they do. And this is so underappreciated, especially the glass blower, just how much time and effort and money they can save you. Like we don't get charged for their time. We only get charged for materials and equipment, which is absolutely amazing. Like you guys don't appreciate a lot of grad school as you being an electrician, a plumber, you have to troubleshoot everything, but you don't have to do it alone at FSU. There are people that can help out with that. So yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Glass blower. We're going to be devastated when Tom...
He's not training an apprentice. This is like...
Yeah.
This is the thing that bothers me the most. He should have some apprentice in his glass blowing shop.
Yeah.
This is a dying craft.
Yep.
And when he's gone, there's not very many scientific glass blowers.
Yeah, scientific is the qualifier.
Yeah, in the world anymore. I mean, in the United States specifically, there's just not. It's just unfortunately an incredibly useful craft that has fallen down.
And casual glass blower, not casual, but like art glass blowers, or I mean, people that make bongs and pipes and stuff. Yeah. They could learn scientific glassware, but there is something to be said about doing quartz, trying to fuse quartz with normal glass and stuff like that. That's a very different skill set. But Tom's amazing. He'll be around forever. Don't worry.
Well, and then pressure vessels too. Like he makes a lot of pressure vessels for me. And if you don't know, pressure vessels are ones that are meant to like absorb a high amount of pressure within them and not rupture or break as a safety thing. And so, if you're going to start putting necks and different, doodads around a pressure vessel, they have to be done appropriately to not create weak spots on that vessel. He does a fantastic job. So, yeah.
I'm struggling. There she is. All right. We're good.
Kareen 22, does having no publication negatively affect your application?
It doesn't blackball you by any means. I mean, most students that apply, what do we say, 70% don't have a publication? It's probably higher than that.
I'd say most don't.
Yeah.
And the type of research that you did can sometimes dictate, the publication, status, right? Like if you might not have a publication, but certainly, You would want your advisor to write a letter that, states that your work was high quality and that it just needs some more time with a little bit more work to get towards a publication, and that maybe the PI envisions that you'll have a publication before you graduate, because there's 2 semesters between when you apply and when you actually graduate. So there's actually a lot of time in your senior year to get a publication out that you might not have when you apply, right? So,
but if you have a manuscript in prep, it is going to help you out a lot. Like that shows a clear record of research, and it's not just made up.
Yeah.
Microfluidic, welcome to stream. That is one of our colleagues. Can you guess which one's microfluidic?
I'm going to guess that he has slightly less hair than me right now.
I think you are correct, sir.
Yeah. Hi, Mike. And I think I missed some questions. Man, they're rolling in here.
Oh, that fly by. Thank you all for joining us. It's been awesome. It's Scientist Gaming, mediocre gameplay, expert science, or expert graduate admissions, as it were.
Yeah. So, I mean, Eugene chimed in. I'll say the same thing. I didn't have any publications. I went to a very small university, Radford University in Virginia. Shout out Highlanders. I dabbled in different areas of research, but it never progressed to the level of a publication, but it was certainly valuable from a, creating an experiment, trying to do it appropriately type of way.
I'm the converse. I had a accidental JAX paper as an undergrad.
Wow.
So I had a first author JAX paper from my RU experience. And it was literally accidental. I was growing crystals, shake and bake, MOF chemistry. And one of those crystals did something weird. And that was it. Like, it was reversible single atom motion in a crystal lattice.
Right.
But that was why I got into grad school, because it sure as hell wasn't my GRE scores. Which is maybe why I have a vendetta against the GRE. I don't know.
I think Eugene's calling you out that you made that up. Yeah, so.
Oh, the percent of students with papers? No, I think that's pretty accurate. It's only a small fraction.
Yeah, most don't have a publication, and I would say that I for one, when I was chair, wanted to see that you did participate in some research. Because, you're going to grad school to do research. So it's good that you at least dabbled in it as an undergrad to try to get some experience there. And it's a good thing to do because you get a letter from a research advisor, which is a good thing to have for your application, someone that can speak to your abilities to learn in the research format. So. Yeah, so Professor Mike Roper, who's joined us, said he learned what he did not want to do. He did undergrad research, and I think that's a valuable thing as well, right? I mean,
exactly.
There's a lot of different research out there. You experiment around, literally, and find things that you like and you don't like.
Yeah. No, because grad school, it's a long period of time to be doing something you hate. So, yeah, find what you love. Not going. Killing tremor graboids.
So... Court Balls has chimed in. I wonder if that's Courtney, my graduate student, who loves to correct me by this. This must be Courtney. Apparently, ChemGlass can do custom glass.
Oh no, they absolutely can if you pay enough.
If you pay the price, yeah.
I don't know.
The graduate students, they don't think of that.
No, and anyone will make molecules that you need at a price. So yes. Yeah. But the other thing it costs you is a lot of time. So you put that order in with ChemGlass, you do 3 months of negotiation before you get a product. So yeah, time is the most valuable thing you have in grad school, and I cannot stress how important that is. Where am I going? Did you kill these guys?
Okay, Little Lollipop Head. I'm currently applying for fall 2023 graduate chemistry programs.
Apply to FSU, exclamation point, apply.
Yes. Exclamation point, apply.
There you go.
All right.
There's the link.
There's more. How should I make good use of my time since I've already graduated with my bachelor's in the spring? I still do research with my advisor, and I'm going to ask him for more hours, for more experience, and pay. But is there anything else I can do if he can't give me more hours? I'm also reviewing all undergraduate material so it stays fresh in my mind. It sounds like
Yeah, you're on top of it.
yeah, it sounds like you're thinking very much in line.
Even asking that question, you're ahead of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, spend time on your applications, make sure your, cover letter is good and stuff like that. Your application materials are pretty much written in stone already. You can't change those, but you can change how much you prep for the next step. Where the hell am I going? Sorry. Take gaming very seriously, for anyone that doesn't know.
Can we get an emoji in there? Okay, there we go.
We got the rage. That's Aaron Benucci from University of South Carolina, who was the first to rage quit on stream. He was playing Madden 2007, and he had an interception in the fourth, and he rage quit. I like it.
So, Core Balls has offered to make molecules for a price.
Exactly.
Tapping into the chem glass.
Man, we did when I was in grad school, we were making porphyrins for like near IR photodetectors and near IR OLEDs, and we made something like 20 grams of tetrabenzotryphenyl porphyrin. And if you go on Frontier Scientific, that's something like $80,000 worth of porphyrin. So
Wow.
yeah, exactly. You do your math, cost benefit, time versus money. I got to beat the graboids, obviously.
Yeah, when we did a postdoc, everyone had to do at some point during the postdoc kind of like one remedial synthesis for the polymer production laboratory or something like that. So, actually, I made isoprene I made polyisoprene rubber from isoprene that had been made by enzymes, bugs. So
That's pretty fun.
it's bioisoprene.
Yeah.
And the company, all they wanted to know was that this isoprene that was made from biological organisms was able to turn into normal isoprene like the one from petroleum.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same chemical, so it's like, straightforward, but
I mean,
thought
but
it was
sometimes like there's impurities in one route, and like I get why they would test that before committing.
Yeah.
But isoprene is isoprene.
just to make sure there's no like bio poop in there
Yeah,
that would like
exactly.
destroy. It was an anionic polymerization, so it's a pretty
Yeah, it's touchy.
yeah. Okay, yeah, that's definitely chlorine.
Not just isoprene.
So oodles of omics. So up here at University of Maryland, they always see an increase in the number of applicants during economic turndowns like now.
Yeah.
Are we seeing the same down here?
Man, we saw a drop the last couple of years,
did,
and
yeah.
that was a combination of COVID and I don't know, economics. It's there's so many meta factors that go into this that I would love to understand better, and
Yeah.
I just don't. So yeah, no, it's interesting. One thing we've seen a lot of is a very big decrease in the number of applicants from China. A lot less of those because China's investing a lot more money in research, and a lot more applicants from Africa. So Nigeria and Ghana, like many of our guests,
Yeah.
who've stayed up way too late for this stream or got up early.
Maybe they're drinking coffee. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cheers to you joining us from overseas.
Yes,
Thank you for
to
taking
anyone that's
time.
at a completely different time zone, for sure.
Last year we had over 400. Wow, I didn't know that. That's crazy. It'll be interesting to see what we have this year.
Yeah.
Found her. 1 hour into Zombies Ate My Neighbors. We should probably throw another prediction up there.
Yeah, let's do it.
You should
Let's do it. Which one do you want to do here?
delete the ones we did already.
I can do that. Didn't know if you kept a record.
I have the document.
Do
What do we want?
we want to do a fun one here, or
We could do a legit one.
do we want to do this one so we make sure we do this one?
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, let's do that one. Okay.
So go over to your Firefox browser. It's going to be the Twitch tab. Yep, that one. All right, take a little break. What level am I on? It says 45 levels.
Oh my gosh, you picked a.
Yeah, I'm not going to be beating
the
this
King
game
James
tonight.
version of.
Ye kill the zombies. I like it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have another prediction coming up. If you're not following us, click the follow button, use your standard internet units. Also, the follows help our visibility and things like that. So click follow either way. Use those standard internet points. You are going to bet on a prediction right now. Somebody just followed. I can't see who it is. Go ahead and get start. Start.
All right, we're gonna start the prediction.
All right. Yeah, list that.
Do you want to announce the prediction question?
Vex, thank you for the follow. You can do the question.
All right, so the question is, this is about us. What do you think the percent of visiting admits accept an FSU offer? In other words, the students that come to visitation weekend at FSU, what percentage of them end up joining FSU?
Yeah, so to give some context in those numbers, typically in February we have, 30 visiting students, and then in March
30.
We'll have 15 to 20, something like that.
Yeah.
So the question is, how many students that come and see our department accept our offer? And I don't want to reveal any more than that. But you guys have about a minute. Make your prediction. Eugene, you were probably betting a lot of points on this. You are a dirty cheater and liar. He's so bitter about a question we asked Roper. It was, how long will Roper last against Mike Tyson? And the answer was over 30 seconds. Eugene lost his points. He mentions that every stream.
Tyson is no joke. Even Soda Popinski was pretty tough.
Yeah.
I think I got stuck on Soda Popinski for a while.
Yeah. Mike's talking shit. Eat it, Eugene. Space Invaders does have music. It's the first game with music. Talk to the music theorist. The tone changed, Eugene. Anyway.
It's like we've got about 20 seconds left on the prediction. If you haven't put your prediction in, Ken will explain how you do it again. And
yeah, click the prediction button. Bet as many internet points as you are confident in your answer. I think you can bet all your internet points, but you can buy things like request a factoid or make us take a drink. We are happy to do those. You can highlight a message, unlock your emotes, whatever you want to do with your internet points. But pride is the most important thing that's on the table, as demonstrated by Mike and Eugene. We take these questions seriously.
Just getting a World Series update.
No,
The Astros, Phillies are tied.
Tied at
0.
Oh, that's not exciting.
Like my bases loaded score.
What's your team, Astros or Phillies? Or do you care?
No, actually, I like the Twins.
Yeah?
Yeah, I decided that would be
Soft spot for the Twins?
Yeah, I have seen them live more than any other baseball team. But
that's awesome.
I'm rooting for the Phillies, though. The Astros, they're good. They just won a lot lately, and so you naturally root for the new guy, right?
Yeah. Twins, I grew up during the Kent Herbeck, Kirby Puckett, 87, 91 when they actually won. Like, it was easy to get behind the Twins. Since then, though.
Our prediction has closed, and you probably guessed that we were doing a little bit of a promotion here. So yeah, 50% of the students that visit our department wind up coming here. So we take a lot of pride in that stat. I think that's why it's noteworthy to put down as a prediction, right? I mean,
yeah. No, like most programs, that number is like 15 to 20%. At ours, it's 50, which tells you like what students see here convinces them to come. And it's something I think, seeing the new building, seeing our facilities, our equipment, it was for me, for interviewing, that's what it was like. It was like my perception of what FSU was before I arrived was very different than after I was here. So yeah, I'd encourage students, all you guys apply. If you're a domestic student, we fly you out to visit FSU, check out our facilities, check out our faculty, and decide from there. All right, I should probably change games.
Think so? Yeah.
Yeah, what should I go on to?
Is there a good picture of CSI somewhere on our website?
CSL? Maybe on Google Maps.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna call it quits on Zombies Ate My Neighbors, because I only get to play it. So starting this stream, it is significantly cut into my video gaming time. So now I'm gonna take these 3 hours to play some of my classic favorites.
Hey, you're the guest.
Exactly. So we're gonna go with a little bit of the original Super Mario Brothers. I'm just gonna do some speedrun strats through this game. Should take about 7 minutes or so. But yeah,
Have your foot pedal?
No, I'm not gonna time this one. I'll save it for NARC. But yeah, this is the original Mario Brothers 1985 release. And
man,
I speedrun this game occasionally.
I think every child or every person our age remembers a childhood memory of when they got the Nintendo and pulled this game out and just started playing it for an entire day and a half straight.
Yeah, and all the sounds from this game, the music, like this is immortalized. Mario's more famous on the planet Earth than any other character. Mickey Mouse or Superman or whatever you might imagine, Mario is the go-to. And yes, microfluidic, I am missing all the things. We'll see if I can do this speed strat up here. Ready? Oh, look at that. This guy's... Oh, man. I just lost 0.6 of a second, ladies and gentlemen. It was a close pipe jump, though. So you remember 4-1? This was the level that wrecked us as kids, as the Spinies.
Yeah. Yep.
You want to see how easy this level is now?
It is now, yeah. That's what, once you figured out that secret, like Nintendo Power released the secret in their like January, whatever, 92 issue.
Yeah.
That you just keep running. Man, it became so much easier.
Or you call the $8 per minute help line or whatever it was. Boom. Chris Pratt. We're not going to open that can of worms, but thank you, Cuddle Puppy. Karine?
Karine, I'm presently a biochemistry master's student. I am done with my coursework, but I wouldn't be done with the research project by the application deadline.
But you guys got to see this. This is actually, I'm going to die and start this level over.
Okay.
You might not know about this warp, but somebody figured out that if you jump backwards into walls, you can shift the screen and change where the spawn is of the vine at the end. So I'm intentionally jumping backwards into these things. So that thing goes up, and I climb it by going in this pipe. Now I'm up the vine. No! I missed it.
What'd you do?
I missed it. Doing it again. The speedrun strats in this game are crazy. I might have gone too far again. There we go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? That saves you 2 seconds on the speedrun.
But you did that by jumping backwards?
Jumping backwards and changing my position on the screen, so the screen thinks I'm farther, and it like thinks I should go up the vine rather than the pipe.
Man, I thought I'd known all the secrets.
No, this game is crazy how much they figured out. I didn't figure out any of this. I cheat. Oh, missed that.
Can we go back to Karine's question now?
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
Priorities, ladies and gentlemen.
Presently a biochemistry master's student, done with the coursework, but wouldn't be done with the research project by the application deadline, so wouldn't have her degree by then. Is it advisable to add this master's to my application or just stick with my undergraduate degree? So it sounds like she's in process of getting the master's, won't have it quite there by the application deadline, but certainly working towards it. What's your advice on her?
I mean, most people that apply to our program don't have their degree yet, right? Like whether it's bachelor's or master's, you just say, I'm in the master's program, expected graduation date. Mm-hmm. I think that's the standard. Oh, come on, Ken. Pipe jumps.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it's an opportunity to have another letter from someone that's... if your master's... If the advisor of your master's degree is different than, say, who you worked with research for undergrad, that's potentially another letter. So that's a good thing. But if it's the same person, that's a good thing also. So.
It's not cheating if you're following the literature. True. Nice tie in Reese's Pieces. Thank you. I'm way more focused on this than I was the other game. It's much harder speedrun. Here we go.
So, I think you might know what Cuddle Puppy's saying here. It's lingo that might be like Mario dedicated. I don't. Right. Save states? What's that mean?
that when I pressed F9 and I got to exactly where I was, that's a save state. So I can practice things by hotkeys on the keyboard.
Okay.
So yeah.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, I practiced the shit out of Mario. Which I used to be the 176th fastest Mario runner, and now I'm not even top 500. So I've washed up, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we got another one. What's amazing to me is like these legit speedrunners that do this while watching chat and answering questions.
Yeah.
Zach has a question.
All right. First time chat. Welcome, Zach Turlington. I will be done with my undergraduate degree in biochemistry in the fall semester and will be off for the spring semester before I would go to graduate school. Any tips on what Zach should do in that spring semester sort of gap semester?
Read up on literature. Honestly, some people might not like this answer, but relax and enjoy your life. Because, like, grad school is going to be a long-term commitment. And you're going to come to FSU, hopefully. And you're going to spend 5 years doing research.
Yeah.
You might as well spend a little bit of time enjoying your life before that interval. So, yeah.
True. You're at a young age. You know, I don't want to give bad advice, but if you feel like a small loan is something that you could manage, you could potentially go see some part of the world that you've never seen before. And there's, life gets busier and busier as you get older, so that, when you're young, the time is right to go have some fun and just go visit somewhere that you might not ever get to again. So, if you're looking for like things to do to kind of get more prepared for graduate school, you could always revisit some of the classes that you've taken or whatever, if that's something you do. But you could do that on a beach in Barbados.
Yeah. Read papers on a beach. That's what you should be doing. Yes, Eugene. He is watching every one of these levels. I'm going to take shit. Eugene and I have raced this game. Oof, that's going to hurt.
Oh, rage.
I like it. Speed strats.
Yeah, Lori's a good yin to our yang. She also advises saving a little bit of money for grad school.
Yeah, no, she's responsible.
Yes.
Oh, that's a nice run. That bump was intentional, by the way, so the clock is 2 instead of 3. 3 gives you 3 fireworks and costs you a second. You guys are learning about grad school and Mario speedrunning.
And is there 2 better things to learn at one?
Are you ready for 8-4, the final level of the game?
This is intense.
It is. Watch this move if I can do it. This is my favorite move in the speedrun. Oh, I'm going to actually start that over. So normally you try to jump up this. Can you press F9 for me?
F9.
So you can clip into the wall and jump artificially. Ah, hit it again. See if I can hit it. So this is how you practice these moves. Oh, you saw that where he hung in the air just a little bit?
I saw that.
You can jump. You have 2 frames to jump when he does that. Ah. All right, last try.
I can hit the F9 all day.
Hit it again. We'll try one more.
I think the people at home are just...
They want to see it?
Yeah, they want to see it at this point.
There it is.
Oh!
See that? You don't have to hit the thing. You clip into the wall because it thinks there's a wall there.
Yeah, you did like an American Ninja Warrior type.
Oh, and then he kills at the fish. Eat it, Ken. Oh, and then he just eats it. Oh, all right. I won't do that one anymore. Oh.
Alodia Mane. I do not have a YouTube channel. I'm not as savvy as Ken with YouTube channels. I thought about creating one. I don't know what I would say on it, so I just thought about putting like
Video abstracts. That's what I do.
Yeah, video abstracts.
I make my students do a 5-minute like PowerPoint of every paper they publish.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I do have a YouTube channel, but
Oh, there it was again, ladies and gentlemen.
football trash talking.
So Justin will link that in chat right now.
Yeah, you can watch the fantasy football selection show and all the. I've got a fantasy football league of buddies that we've been doing it for 20 years. So.
20 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that
Roper
was
is
clean.
questioning learning anything from the speed run. But I think the air jump was pretty.
Yeah, no, that's... There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Mario. My record time is 5 minutes and less than 3 seconds.
Eugene wonders how good you could be at chemistry if you could not do Mario.
That is an excellent question, sir. That is legit.
Femitomi74, I'll let Lori chime in if I'm wrong here, but no, I do not believe that there's waivers for application fees. I'm assuming is what you're asking about for international students. It's a pretty rigid thing set by the university that we don't have a lot of control over.
Yeah, if we could get rid of registration fees, or if we could even pay them for you, we would. The university does not let us do that. So yeah, that's frustrating. I completely understand it costs to apply. Thankfully, you don't have to apply, you don't have to pay for doing the GRE, which is nice.
Oh, so here's a question from that guy 416. Can first year students come earlier than the fall of 2023? Also, do graduate students get to go home for a week during the holidays? How does that work? And maybe also, like, if that student is interested in coming earlier than the fall, what would you advise them doing?
So you can come earlier if you're willing to work for free. That is a guaranteed yes. If you want to get paid, it's going to depend on the advisor. We also have some summer fellowships ahead of time. It's really going to depend on what money's available. But again, if you're willing to do it for free, by all means, come early. No one will say no to that. For vacation, it depends on who you work for. I think no matter what, there's a university holiday for at least a week and a half. So like a lot of the stuff is shut down. My students are typically gone December 20th or 18th to January 2nd or 3rd. And so I think that's pretty standard, plus Thanksgiving. And honestly, if you're getting your shit done, I don't care. Like, go home, travel whenever you need to. I've had international students that went back to China for a month at a time, but she worked her butt off the rest of the time. Like, very rarely will PI say you need to work more if you're already working.
Yeah, I think Ken and I are both result-driven PIs, right? It's not about when you punch your time card. It's more about what you get done in a period of time. And so, I've had students that they come to lab in the morning. They don't want to mess around with the computer and Facebook and internet and email and all that. They want to get to work and they want to maximize every bit of productivity while they're there. And then they get a lot done. And so, they might take a 3-day weekend here and there, and they're still being very productive, and I have no problem with it. So it's about how you work and how you want to work in grad school, and not just about being physically there in the lab at all times.
Yeah, and I'll follow up on that. I have a research productivity talk on my YouTube page. Actually, I can find that and show you guys if you want. But basically, there's a direct proportionality between the number of hours worked and how productive you are. I mean, that's just kind of a known thing, but that's hours worked and not just hours spent, right? And so you guys have to be aware that, just like Justin said, Facebook and whatnot. And my graduate advisor, Mark Thompson, he recounted a story where he had, a mother of 2 that went to grad school. And she was like, I can only be here 9 to 5 because that's when my daycare is. That's my window. But she was the most organized researcher. And that 9 to 5 was a real 9 to 5. And then at night, she would read papers and things like that. And was super productive. And so, yeah, it's nobody cares about holidays or how much time you work as long as you're getting stuff done, at least as far as I can tell. All right, so I beat Mario, much to Eugene's chagrin. So we're going to do something different with the next game. It's actually not one of my favorites. Instead, this is going to be... So anytime I go visiting anyone, like a talk or a seminar or a conference or whatever it is, I typically look up whether there's a retro game store that I can visit during that trip. And so I was in upstate New York. I flew into Rochester, visited SUNY Cortland and Ithaca College, and I found in Rochester there was somewhere called Game Craze, and I actually picked up 2 Nintendo games. And one of those games is this guy. It's called Thundercade. And so we're going to do a blind playthrough of Thundercade for the first time on stream. I've never played this game before.
Never heard of it.
And so the reason I want to do this is those of you younger in the audience, now if you want to play a game, you look up reviews and you look up YouTube videos and gameplay footage. Back in the day, all you had was the box cover art.
Yeah.
And this one, clearly it's someone on a motorcycle, probably fighting against tanks, but we know nothing about this game other than that. So I've loaded the game. I put some Game Genie codes in just in case, but... Ladies and gentlemen, this is Thundercade.
All right. The thought that goes into the artwork on the cover of the game was so much more important back then too. It's this has to sell the game.
it mattered back in the day. All right, here's the lore.
Wow, this is kind of like
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes, when they're doing the run, in between the bouts, they're running through New York City.
Destroy enemies at the atomic power plant. Good luck. All right, we got a mission, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, we got a whole lot of explosions.
Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. So this is Thundercade. Anyone losing sleep, this is what it looks like.
Okay, it's got it's a little bit of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle meets Contra meets like Space Invaders right now.
Yep.
Hybrid.
Oh, cool. I wonder how many lives I have. Yeah, anyone just joining Thundercade Ask a Scientist Gaming. Today we're answering questions about graduate school, the graduate school experience, applying for graduate schools, whatever that might be, while playing Thundercade blind walkthrough for the first time.
Games were designed by an unpaid intern. That'd be very true.
No, they had like 2 weeks to pump this out like E.T. This is pretty horrible. You have to press B every time you bullet, so this is one of those button mashers. Oh my god, I might be done already. And yeah, this is what happened. You'd go to Blockbuster and you would rent this game and you'd have it for like 12 hours until they took it back the next morning and you just played the shit out of the same 2 levels over and over again. This is the life we lead. Give me the mouse, Justin, let go. We're adding all the Game Genie codes. All right, sorry, go ahead.
We have 2 mice and only 1 pointer on the screen, so it's a tug of war if we're both trying to do something. Yeah, remember, do you remember when you first got your first access to renting movies and video games? Do you remember that? That changing point in your life?
Yeah, no, I mean I was like 5 years old or something. The first time I went to a rental place, like Blockbuster, when those still existed.
First 3 movies my family ever rented were Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi.
You watched the trilogy.
Yeah.
But that would have been, what, 83, 84, something like that?
Somewhere in the middle there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the first one came out in 79, I think.
And I remember we watched Star Wars and it ended, and I was so upset that it was over. And I remember my dad vividly. He walks up, he's like, "What's the matter?" I'm like, "It's over." And he's like, "What if there was another one?" And I was like,
"Oh, Dad."
Oh, Dad. You got me.
Learned everything you need to know about Dad. Dad jokes. Man, so one of the cheat codes on this was actually auto fire, so I don't have to tap the B button to shoot every single time. It's doing it for me.
Thank you, Lori. I'm looking for it. Let's see. Did I delete it? Oh, there it is.
Cuddle Puppy. You're about results, just like the main character in buddy cop movies. Absolutely. Ooh, boss fight.
So Kareen22 wants to know, are international students eligible for campus visitation before the start of the program?
You can visit. We don't pay for that visit. Unfortunately, we don't have the funds to pay for international flights. But if you have those funds available and you want to visit campus after being accepted, by all means, we'd be happy to have you.
Yeah.
And we'll set up a private, like you'll meet with whoever you want to, get a tour of facilities. It doesn't have to be the weekends if you're international.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're a junior as an undergrad and you're just thinking about potentially applying for FSU next year, you can come visit. Just reach out to website has all the information of people to contact. You can contact Ken, contact me.
Yeah.
Just reach out. Say, hey, I'm a junior, I'm a sophomore. I know I want to go to grad school. I'm just getting a heads up on trying to look at some places and think about it. I mean, certainly, we're always, if we're available, if we have the ability, we will try to accommodate you coming and.
You'll definitely be able to meet with someone. There's always going to be someone. Like you're taking a trip to Disney with the family, then drive 3 hours out of your way, come visit us in Tallahassee.
Reese's Pieces has requested a drink.
Oh man!
And I need to get one.
So there's beers in the cooler right there, or seltzers. We have a surprising amount of seltzers because of the Bowen birthday party. Seltzers took over, man. I don't know if you've been keeping track of this. But like,
yeah, but that's very much on the seltzer kick.
yeah,
I don't mind them.
yeah. No, some of them are delicious.
Yeah, there are flavors that I protest vehemently.
Riveting gameplay on Thundercade. Somebody keeping track of my deaths? Should I take a shot every time I die? Hospital visit
You need to
tonight.
last for
For another hour and a half. I gotta do NARC speedruns starting at 10. Stick around, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna do actual NARC speedruns. Because the current record for our guests is 17 minutes. My time is 38. I need to break both of those tonight. Oh, boss.
So, if anybody's new or just now joining us, this is Ask a Scientist Gaming. I'm Justin Kennemer, guest host. We've got our guest today, the creator of Ask a Scientist Gaming, Ken Hanson here. We're here to answer all of your questions that you may have related to graduate school, and if you just have a general question as well, we'll field that. So, welcome, and thank you to all the new subscribers. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, and if anyone has questions about polymers or photochemistry or anything chemistry
that's true.
related, we are happy to. How did I die from that? I just blew him up.
Yeah.
This game's so unrealistic.
This is Ask a Scientist. If you have science-based questions, you're just pulling at our heartstrings a little bit right there, but we are happy to answer anything.
Oodles of Omics, thank you for the gift sub for Totally Not Eugene. Eugene used those emotes wisely in stream, but now you have access to most of them at least, so you can use Rage and Ethanol and also, wow, look at this upgrade.
Whoa!
Jacked up here. Now I lost him. I had him for 6 seconds. The emotes are useful. Wish I had those while teaching. But yeah, if anyone has questions, science or graduate school admissions or otherwise, we are happy to answer them while playing Thundercade. Do I regret this game? This is like just a classic Nintendo type game. Like there's dozens like this, right?
Yeah, it's the same kind of underlying code.
Yeah.
You just apply, either bats or military guys or tanks. Yeah.
Sprites. I'm getting wrecked here. I looked up the speed run. It's 25 minutes.
I learned this week that it has cervical radiculopathy.
That sucks.
And I laughed because I'm like, yes, this is very ridiculopathic. But that's actually a very fancy name for a pinch nerve in the neck.
It's actually a pinched nerve. That sucks.
It's been awful.
Yeah.
It's the most awful thing I've ever experienced because it emanates all the way down my arm.
Nerves are the worst.
Yeah. So, anyway, if you have any questions about cervical radiculopathy, I'll be happy to answer them.
He's an expert as of 3 days ago. Or yesterday. That was Tuesday, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
So
wrecked by these guys.
I'll make up a question on the fly.
Oh,
here.
let's do it.
Is there anything that you recall off the top of your head that really stood out for a graduate application? And counter to that, is there anything you recall off the top of your head that really turned you off in a graduate application?
The outstanding thing, again, anytime a student has a paper, and not only that, but like they write in their cover letter, like they clearly understand the science, like here's what we did, here's why we did it. Like I'm excited to see that because that's like, oh, this student can write, or at least they understand their research well enough to bullshit their way through a application. Because like writing is one of the most important skills we have, and it's so underappreciated and undertrained in our field. And so last Friday gave the writing a paper talk to the first year students, and it's like, you will write all the time. So if you're good at writing, it is going to reflect well on your likelihood of being successful in grad school. Yeah. There have been some red flags, like if you, I don't want to say this is a red flag, but something that gets my attention regularly is when somebody says, I am interested in working for the following people, and it lists like a biochemist, a p-chemist, a computational chemist, and a materials chemist. And it's not that you might be interested in all those, but it's more of a like, I kind of think you don't know what you want to do yet.
Like they random lotteried 4 names off of the website. Yeah.
And it wasn't an actual interest. It was more of a, I'm just fulfilling. And maybe that's the way it is. I feel bad if that's like, you are genuinely interested in all those, because you can do rotations in those, but it's not a red flag, but it is an eyebrow raiser. What sucks about this speed run is this is an auto scroller, right? So like there's only so fast you can go no matter what.
Oh, really?
The game relies on, I can't move forward any faster than the screen lets me here. So even if I die, I have the same time on this.
Oh, so it's not speed runnable.
It is, but I think it's only the boss fights that would actually matter. So you basically need to survive everything and then boss fight. I don't know, have you come across red flags or clearly?
I was trying to think about. I ask questions and then I realize I need to think about my own answer to them.
Yeah. Eat it.
Yeah, I mean, one thing is for sure is that if you did research with somebody and they don't provide a letter, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
It's like
we'll actually reach out to them even if you don't. Give a letter.
Why wouldn't you put your research advisor down for a letter? And to be honest with you, there are situations out there where maybe there was a situation and you and your research advisor just didn't see eye to eye on something, and maybe your research advisor was being unreasonable and you were taking the higher ground and you don't want his letter or her letter or whatever. But that's what the personal statement is for.
You gotta say that,
Yeah, that's what the personal statement is for. So things that are like outliers or exceptions to what we would consider to be kind of maybe a more normal application, that personal statement is a really good place to discuss the fact that you had a bad death in the family in your sophomore year, and that's why you tanked Orgo or something like that, right?
Or your GPA one semester was bad.
And,
but you got better.
But
like anytime you make those qualifiers, say, here's what I did to fix it, or here's what I did to overcome that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just be genuine about it. Be honest about it. We know that life has a lot of trips and turns and all that. I mean, especially, I guess the students that will be applying this year and for the next several years will have had to deal with the COVID pandemic. And that's going to be an interesting thing to see, the adversity that was sort of put on different students and how they had to overcome that and how they had to perform in classes that should not be done over Zoom or Canvas or with honor lock and all the other crap. So, yeah.
All right, this game is terrible. It's just the same thing.
Maybe that's why we never heard it.
It's just the same thing over and over again. All right, we're going to change it. We tried. We tried Thundercade, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me on this blind playthrough.
This is how we felt about it. Just keep drinking and firing bullets.
Exactly. It's working. All right, we're going to do some Mario Maker.
Cool.
Oh.
So this is going a little bit further back. What are the green and red fluorescent samples on your YouTube page cover? The Little Lollipop Head wants to know that.
I would have to see what that image is. I honestly don't remember. I linked that in chat at some point. Right.
Must be from maybe a pick of the week.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that green is I think that's a diphenylanthracene derivative. It has 2 phenylacetylenes off the side. This is actually the green that you'll find in glow sticks, which is kind of fun. And then the orange one is it's a ruthenium trisbipyridine derivative that glows orange. That was actually one of our first papers, was that image right there. So yeah, we love glowy stuff in my group. That is our bread and butter.
And we like boring white plastics in our group, so that's your thing?
That's not true. We've shined light on some of your stuff.
Well, you made that.
All right.
I lost the mouse. There it is. Scroll down here.
Sorry, I stole the mouse.
It's all right. Just look. Okay, so Roser1029 would like to know, do you, the professor, come up with a research topic and the graduate students work together with you, or does each graduate student have their own research topic and you just advise them?
So we have a research agenda, we have grants, we have a research plan, and we want to incorporate you into that plan. And so usually it's, especially when you're first starting out, it's just like, do what we tell you to do, to put that as bluntly as possible. And then eventually you start to transition towards independence and you start to branch out and see where that research takes you. But no student is expected to come into grad school just knowing how to do research. It's a very rare thing.
Exactly.
All right, so we're transitioning to Mario Maker. So this game is, it's basically anyone can generate Mario levels across Mario World, Mario 1, Mario 3, 3D Marios, New Super Mario Brothers, and then we can play those levels. And so that's what I'm doing. I used to play this a lot, and I haven't played it in like a year and a half. So we're going to see how this goes.
Cool.
Yeah, so we're going to do super expert levels. We'll see if there's anything fun I can play that I haven't beaten already. If they have a flag on them, I've beaten them. 3% clear rate. Let's see. Have you seen this game before?
I need more just to know.
Like it's literally just Mario, but people create levels, and they are absolutely insane.
Oh, okay. You have told me
that shell. Yeah, I played this this is what got me into Twitch actually, is watching people play Mario, because that shell needs to go the other way. I'm playing super.
So they've constructed extremely strategic levels.
Very difficult levels.
So yeah, I get it.
Yeah. We'll see. This one might be too hard for slightly drunk Ken.
So just another perspective on the topic of like projects and stuff like that. So for my students, again, I think a lot of the PIs that you would come across would have some sort of research objectives that they've proposed that they would target for a grant, which is currently funding their research. So there are some veins of areas, I like to call it the tree trunk, that we want the student to stay on initially to learn how to progress the project forward. But as you become more productive and be able to multitask as a more senior researcher, you get more skills, you can get more reactions started at once and manage them properly. This is an opportune time for you to say, I got an interesting idea. I might want to just do that off to the side here while I get the stuff done that my PI wants me to get done, but I'm just going to have this little bit of fun over here on the side. And I love that. I love that when a student's like, hey, I got that, that thing synthesized that you wanted me to get synthesized, but I also tried this.
Yeah.
And I learned that, and it's like suddenly like, a whole nother idea comes from that, right?
Yeah. No, that's a major progression in grad school, and that's ultimately where you want to go as a grad student. Not just like a minion doing research, but like where you come up with something new. Like if I had achievement bars in grad school, that would be one of them. Like you get the medal for independent thought. Not playing. But yeah, that typically doesn't happen till third or fourth year of grad school, but it's amazing when it does.
Okay, first time chat from K Mabry HC24.
All right.
Hey guys, interested in the MD PhD route, gotten general confirmation that 2 years off or even more from college for research generally advised. Agree or disagree?
Oof. Are you familiar with MD PhDs?
I am not.
So that's where you enroll in PhD research as well as MD medical school, and those are the people that can experiment on humans. So MD PhDs are like the rarest of the rare med school applications. It's like 2% of programs, and that's hardcore. Like applications to that are very hardcore. Sorry, what was the question?
So the general confirmation was that 2 years off or even more from college for research is generally advised. So I guess you would go to college for the initial degree, not go to the next step in order to do research for a couple of years, and then potentially follow that path later.
I mean, MD, PhD, I think you have to definitely do something to make your application stand out. So that might be why they advise that research experience, because like that's no joke. If you're trying to do that field, that's not med school. That's med school on like drugs, right? That's like the 1 in 1,000 med school applicants will be competitive for a PhD MD. So yeah, you have to definitely do something to make you stand out. I think arguably research will make you stand out more than the standard, like I did rotations. Like everyone and their mother can do rotations. The people that can actually do research is a different class. So
right. Yeah. And there's a little bit of a follow-up to this question too. So finding a lab means finding a project you're passionate about at an open lab at an institution. Or is it more complicated than just that?
No, it's that, but like timing and luck, and there's all sorts of variables that play into it. I think it's a war of attrition. You just got to ask a lot of people if they're taking students and whether you can work for them. So this is the kind of bananasness that happens with Mario Maker.
I love that,
Just
by the way.
chaos, isn't it? Like this is not your,
It's just
this is not your grandma's Mario. Like this is
It's like Fear and Loathing in Mario.
yeah. No, it's just like I'm on drugs. There's always things you have to land. This is a class known as Kaizo, where it's just like complex moves. But yeah, this is Mario. But it's an infinite number of these like levels exist.
It's impressive the number of ways they can create diversity in just jumping up and down.
Yeah, exactly. The number of ways you can do different speeds, and oh, look at that troll. This better be a flag. There we go. Take a breath.
Good job. Hey, we got something here. What we can do?
GG's, Bowser drinking.
Good game. Good game.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We should do predictions. We have much of
I
them.
know.
We haven't done any. It's hard. They get behind you.
I'm a bad host.
Fired.
Okay.
It's
All right.
okay.
Well, this will segue into a question about what that even means. So,
Ooh, beat
okay.
it. Cheers, ladies and gentlemen. Not completely washed up on Mario.
Because I think a lot of students they hear that term.
Mhm.
I'll
Yeah, you should
elaborate.
define what that
Okay.
is.
So we got a question here coming up. I'll start to explain it before I put the timer up so that we can understand it. So the question is going to be the total number of R1 institutions in the United States. And so that R1 institution is something that you might have heard floated around in the graduate school language. And I'll explain now what that means. I'm going to go ahead and start the prediction. But an R1 research institution is based off of the sort of the total amount of research money that is delivered to that university for research in general. And so if you reach a certain metric of financial funding from various sources for your university, you become the top. R1 being the top, and then there's R2, which is the level below that. And I don't know if they go to 3 or 4.
I think there's an R3.
There's R3.
But yeah, R1, it's 20 PhDs and over $5 million.
Good.
I think are the official metric. Yeah, I wrote them down here.
Oh, there.
But like any top 100 and, I don't know, 100 something programs, somewhere around there. This is the question what it's asking. I don't know the actual number, but I should.
Yeah. So we're asking whether or not the number of R1 universities in the U.S. or institutions in the U.S. is greater than 150 or less than 150. So how prestigious do you feel being R1 status is regarding the how many institutions are in the U.S.? That would be another one.
At least 4,000 last time I looked at it. If you take 4 year and
Are they
that's
all
not
in
even
Florida?
2 year. I'll give you guys a hint. There's at least one, and it's Florida State University. It's an R1 institution, so we'll count that for what it's worth. Man, this is crippling. You see that? It's just nonstop. I love these levels. It's a lot of fun. It's like you're forced to speedrun every single level.
I'm glad I'm the host because I actually probably couldn't play the game right now.
Yeah,
Pinched nerve. It goes all the way down to my
that's
knuckles.
bad. Holy crap. That's brutal. Getting old sucks. Enjoy your youth. Your semester off. Enjoy it. But yeah, if you guys aren't following, click follow. God, I missed that. Click follow, get your standard internet units, spend them on this prediction. Click predict at the top of the page or the top of your chat box. You can bet as many points as you so choose, depending on how confident you are in your answer. How many R1 institutions are there?
So quick question while we're going through the thing here. So Nicholas Johansson 98 would like to know, can you have too much research, or does it not matter as long as you have projects you stayed with longer than a semester? So I guess he's trying to ask, like, is it negative to have floated around maybe too much and done too many different things for research versus staying in one vein for the whole time?
I I think it's better if you stick with one because your likelihood of having a paper is higher, but I wouldn't red flag anyone rotating through research because I get it. Like, you figure out things you like, things you don't like. That is standard. So I don't think too much research would ever be held against you. Unless you didn't get a letter from any of those research advisors, then it would be a red flag.
Yeah, and again, that's something I would stress in the personal statement, things like that, where let's say that you started a research project with somebody and for whatever reason it just didn't interest you as much as you thought it would, and so you switched over in your junior year to a different research project and worked on that until your application was submitted. These things happen. We think something sounds cool or interesting, or we have a teacher. That's a big one, right? Is that you take a teacher or professor for a class, and you really like the class.
Changes your life,
right? You're like, oh man, I want to do research with that professor because the class was so cool. But then you go and you do the research, and you find out that the research isn't quite like the class.
Yeah.
Right. So, there's so many. It's chaos theory. The amount of possible trajectories a student can go on before applying to grad school. So, if there's anything that you think is warranting more information, put that in the personal statement. That way we can, understand. Okay, so back to the prediction. So we had almost a 50-50 split here, 49-51%. The correct answer is that there are over 150 R1 institutions in the U.S. And so congratulations to just barely over half of you for getting that right. And you can use those points.
I was harsh on this. The number for 2022 is something like 153.
Wow.
So it's just over 150.
You were really trimming it close.
Yeah, no, I was. Was that harsh?
Yeah. So,
yeah, that means greater than 150 had more than 20 PhDs graduating, as well as more than $5 million in research dollars.
Are those the only two metrics that were required?
I think that's the major one. And what's crazy about this is, like, if you have a med school that makes 20 PhDs in money, you are R1 in chemistry, like the entire program is. And so it gets really hard for like grant dollars and stuff like that. So it's a messy, come on, I'm just washed up here.
Excellent. So yeah, I mean, the R1 university is where, you and I certainly wanted to work because there's a lot of things that come along with R1, and this is certainly in no way anything against anything below R1, but there's a certain level of facilities, a certain level of funding that you get at an R1 university that helps promote, really getting the research going at a rapid state.
I can't do that jump for some reason. And both Justin and I came from PUIs, which are not R1 institutions, right? They're primarily undergrad, but like research-wise, I only applied to R1s. I wanted to run a research group with PhD granting status, blah, blah, blah. Oh, God.
Are there any ratios involved in R1, like the amount of faculty the students graduating?
I don't think so.
Okay.
As far as I know, it's just the dollars and the number of PhDs. It's a pretty flat metric.
Yeah.
It's me getting wrecked, and then it goes to Mario 2, which is kind of crazy.
Right.
Like, this is what you can do with, All right, let's see if I can throw this and still jump.
So Cuddle Puppy's response to the researching too much question is, you should research if it's possible to research too much.
Sociology, somebody's done it.
That would be a nice thesis. Researching research for research purposes.
How much research is too much research? More at 11. I like it. All right, let's see if I can do this. Might not be sober enough to do these complex levels. What? Oh, I can kill it.
Oh, look, they gave you a weapon.
Yeah, they did. I forgot about that. Ah. Oh, I have to get him killed.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. You want to do one of your like a make me have me make up a question or something?
Yeah. Or you could throw another prediction because we're running out of time.
Yeah, let's do another prediction.
You do one of the fun ones. One of the Ken factoids.
There we go. Ken factoid.
Which I'll be curious, Justin and Eugene's answer to this. They might actually know. Oh, I struggle at Mario.
Are you able to see individual people's answers?
You can see who the top bettors are. Actually, if they chat while the question is still active, it'll put a 2 or a 1 next to their name, and that tells you what they picked. All right, I got this, ladies and gentlemen. There we go.
Okay, I'm about to put 2 options up here in this prediction challenge.
That has too many characters.
Oh, okay.
Maybe check the end, see if there's another space or something.
Let's just get rid of A. Nope. Well, obviously you're solving it.
There we go. Perfect.
Yeah.
I thought I counted the 2 minutes.
Yep. So 2-minute timer is going to start. So at one point in time, Ken could do one of these 2 things, and only one of these 2 things.
I like these random guest factoids.
Yeah.
Like, what were they before they were the research professor they are now?
And just in case you're not initiated with the Rubik's Cube, that's the one with the colors, with the squares on it that, you twist and you turn, you try to get all the colors to match on all sides of the cube. That's what a Rubik's Cube is.
Kids not familiar with Rubik's Cubes? They might be.
I don't know. It never surprises me.
Yeah, don't take it for granted, I guess. This level is fun.
And this also brings up an interesting grammatical question.
No, what's that?
So the way it was written is, can use to be able to?
Used to.
Is it use or used? Used to be able to.
Use.
Use?
Used to. Use, I think.
See, I would have said used. U-Y-S. Can used to be able to.
Ask an English major.
I don't know if I'm right or not. I don't know if you're right or not. It sounds like, like my cousin Vinny or something. Like, 2 youths. 2 youths.
Youth. Classic. I need to have a law professor on and ask them about my cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
I guess it's actually used as an example in teaching class, which is kind of fun.
Do we have any confident grammatical people in the audience that can clarify whether or not the prediction challenge should say, can use to be able to, or can used to be able to? I would like to know the answer to that.
Eugene claims he knows the answer to this.
Eugene does claim. He has not put anything else.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's having doubt.
I've seen his Mike Tyson answers. Oof, that was fun.
Or he might be saying he knows the answer to the actual prediction.
Yeah.
In which case, don't say the answer.
All right.
All right, I did it. All right, the submission is now closed. So, Ken, why don't you reveal what you used to be able to do?
The answer is dunk a basketball. So I can solve a Rubik's Cube, but my fastest time ever is 43 seconds. So,
3. So,
many of my students don't appreciate this, but I used to be an athlete, actually. I was captain of the college track team, and I was a high jumper. So not only could I dunk a basketball, but I could put my elbow on the rim. Like, almost hit my head on the rim. Which, again, is, yeah, exactly. Not something you'd expect for casual Ken walking around.
It also makes getting old so much sadder.
Oh, man. Like, I used to be able to do like a back handspring full flip, and now I'm just like the old guy. So
congratulations to everybody that got it right
on that. What was the guess?
Can I go back and find my?
No, you can see the numbers on the.
There's a lot of numbers in front of me. Well, maybe it's in public record.
Did you pick one? Oh yeah, pick one.
Oh, that's the problem.
Dunk a basketball. There you go.
There you go. So 85% went nerd over athlete.
That's what I was hoping for.
That's you got him. Good job.
So what was the split? 6-1 payout. Not bad.
Can you see who actually was the 15%?
So if you scroll over the name, it'll tell you the top. There.
Okay.
Oblivious, congratulations.
Oblivious Dorito.
You've never seen me in person. Maybe you have. I'm 6'2", so it's not unreasonable that I could dunk, but yeah. Dr. Prince is kicking me out. Moderator status. Laura, you also have moderator status, so you can ban hammer Eugene if you want.
Yeah. Doritos sound pretty good right now.
After you're a scotch in, yes. And I'm getting wrecked by this level. I don't know if you've been seeing this, but...
Rage. Let me scroll up for questions here. I don't think we've had any.
Yeah. Yeah, if anyone has questions, throw them in chat. We are happy to answer about science in general or graduate school, graduate admissions. Let's talk about the application process. Wow, momentum. Wrecked.
What do you guys like? Okay, so Elodia Mane, what do you guys like about living in Tallahassee? So what are some credentials of Tallahassee? Anybody considering here as a place of residency?
So I grew up in a town of 1,600 people, and I went to grad school in downtown Los Angeles. So I moved to 3 million people. I would say Tallahassee is the sweet spot between too big and too small. Like, it doesn't feel overwhelming, but it has enough restaurants to be interesting. It has clubs. It has stuff you can do. Not necessarily all the bands you might want to see traveling through Tallahassee, but still, like, every experience you'd want is available without the overwhelmingness of a major city like LA. And so I really like the middle ground. Cost of living is reasonable. Traffic is not off the wall. Yeah, like it's not too big, not too small. I really like, I mean, especially raising kids. I know that's not relevant to most of you guys, but like quality schools and reasonable commute times and winters are nice. Eugene, good point. I'm originally from Minnesota. Justin spent several years in Minnesota. We do not have snow here, at least not in the last like decade or so.
Yeah, and if we did, you'd see it on the news as like Florida-geddon. Everybody would be.
Yeah. I didn't see who commented this, but yeah, driving in Tallahassee, not great. Nobody here uses turn signals. I don't know why. Minnesota drivers were so much better than here. So pros and cons, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you want to see like music acts and traveling shows, I learned this, that there's contracts at music venues that basically say in a state you can only visit so many numbers of places. So Tallahassee gets left out a lot of those, which is kind of, I mean, it makes sense. We don't have a big enough population to support it, but we are 4 hours from Atlanta, 3.5 hours from Orlando, 3 from Tampa, 6 hours from
we're really well
New Orleans. Yeah.
You can do a number of different things in a 3-day weekend here, which is quite cool.
Yeah, that's true. It's day trips. Disney. So I gave a talk at Cortland College, and I gave my recruiting spiel, and I was like, does anyone have questions? And the first question was, how far are you from Disney? And the answer is 3.5 hours. So if anyone's interested in Disney. Jacksonville, what is that?
2 hours.
2 hours?
At most.
Gainesville is 2.5, something like that.
UF is 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the fact that we're just under like a reasonable drive length to New Orleans.
Yeah.
Which is a really great city to visit. If you've never
But not
been there.
live.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's location wise. I would also, Ken touched on this. The cost of living in Tallahassee is pretty good. The city is growing, and so we're getting a lot more. I think it's in some of the areas of Tallahassee is getting a lot more progressive with bike lanes, rentable scooters, parks, places that you can take your dog or take just go for a run or whatever you want to do. So there's a lot of development going on in Tallahassee, and it's growing in that positive way. So, I think I covered it.
Yeah, no, I think that's reasonable.
And then Florida. If you're not from Florida, there's all the things that Florida provides, like fishing, golf, sunshine, beaches, etc., etc.
Be better at Mario. Yeah, Lori has a good point there. It's close to the beach. Not on the beach though, so it's not cost of beach living.
Yeah, so if anybody doesn't know where we are, so if my finger is Florida, we're up here on the Big Bend. We're way up here on the, basically connected in the 48 states, and that actually creates a nice shield for us from a lot of hurricanes. I should knock on wood when I say that.
Yeah. No, we were good this year. We've passed.
Yeah. So we're up in the Big Bend, closer to Georgia. Okay, Little Lollipop Head would like to know, Ken, what would you say your personal favorite thing about the FSU Chemistry Department is?
Oh.
Mine's Lori.
Oh, now you put the pressure on. I have to say Lori. What an asshole. No, in terms of research, my favorite thing is our spectroscopy facilities, and I'm biased because I helped build these facilities, but like the tools we have available to do the things we want to do, like we can measure absorption changes and emission changes between 250 femtoseconds in 1 second. So like 13 orders of magnitude at a time, you get to watch everything that happens. And so I love the tools we have available to us to do spectroscopic measurements. The other thing I really am excited about is how collaborative our department is. And so I've published papers with at least, it's got to be 10 of my colleagues in the chemistry department. And there are departments where it's like competitive, or you don't work with people in the department, or you like avoid your collaborating because of whatever reason. FSU is not like that. They actively encourage you to work together. If you're a student, go talk to another student and say, I need to do this. How do I do it? And they'll be able to tell you. Like we are really collaborative as a department. So I like working with my colleagues. I like publishing with my colleagues. We work together to solve problems, which is awesome. So those are my two favorites in terms of at least chemistry. Personal favorite thing. I also like the building we're in, and Justin mentioned this earlier, but there's a reason 50% of our students accept our offer. We are in a new building. It's a new building built by Taxol dollars. If you guys aren't familiar, Taxol is a breast and ovarian cancer drug that the synthesis of peritaxol, one of the precursors, was figured out by Bob Holton, who's a professor at FSU, and that patent made something like 580 million over what was it, a 15-year interval or something like that.
Yeah,
but
as long as those patents last, like 12 years for a patent.
Yes.
But there's also like stereochemistry stuff you can extend it with now.
Yeah. Ooh, fine. But yeah, the new building we're in is amazing. The facilities, the staff, people. I don't know. It was super easy for me to accept an offer here, especially as a photochemist, because it's like, this is the house that Kasha and Saltiel built. Like, there's a Kasha rule, there's a Saltiel plot. Like, it's awesome to be in that environment. So yeah.
All right, let's see if there's any more.
Oh, too early, Ken. Too early. The building is new and the bathrooms aren't gross. Thanks, Eugene. Really pinpointing the important ones.
The bathrooms can get a little gross by the end of the day, though.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
It depends what floor you're on, right?
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Oh, timing. Get it. Camaraderie? Absolutely. Students, staff, and faculty. No, it's a friendly place. And there's something to be said about ambiance of a department. And you saw this when you interviewed, right? Like, yeah. There were departments where there was like active hostilities and you could feel it, or like pretension for certain programs and others. FSU, it's much more collaborative. Like, a bunch of us went to lunch on Tuesday, and it's like, it's not organic versus inorganic or something like that. It's just like, we're hanging out and we're friends and we work together.
Yeah.
Little Lollipop Head has the most important question of the day. Did you see that one?
Yeah, so which floor is the good bathrooms? I'm not going to volunteer my floor, at least the men's room. I don't know about
hey, I beat it.
That's a good question.
Yes.
You know, we're going to have to save that one for a follow-up.
Yeah. No, come on a visit.
Explore every bathroom on every floor.
Take a break in every single bathroom. I like it. All right. We are at 10:08. It is time for some NARC.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone not familiar with Ask a Scientist Gaming, we stop every stream with a game of NARC. This is a dumpster or a like $5 bin game that I played when I was a kid, played it on stream once. Now I make every single guest play it, and I started speedrunning this game. Oh, Carney22 has requested take a drink. I need a drink.
All right. You're way ahead of me, but then again, I gotta go home.
Yeah, you got We're good. All right. Cheers.
Cheers. Yes.
Thanks for being
to
on.
all of you.
Yeah, thank you for
Great
joining
questions.
us. Hopefully you have a drink in hand. Cheers for joining us on a Wednesday night drinking, talking about graduate schools while playing a little bit of Mario Maker plus Thundercade plus Zombies Ate My Neighbors. And now we're going to close with NARC. Well, Lollipop Head, we look forward to seeing your application and look forward to you visiting our program. Because again, it's one of those things. We're so proud of what we have, and you don't really know it till you visit. And that's one of those things that's underappreciated about the like program rankings. If you go on like US World News, all of those are perception based, and perception is 10 to 15 years behind reality. So those numbers are not real. I appreciate everyone putting effort into the Q&A. We are happy to drink and play video games. That's what we do for fun. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is NARC. We're going to win the war on drugs, hopefully several times tonight. We're going to see. Should be about 10 minutes for me to beat this, but we're
Ken's gonna walk like this as he
saunter. I'm going to saunter.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, that's a terrible start.
Oh, we're already. Oh, already.
I looked away at chat.
Yeah, I got the chat. You can trust
I
me.
will. I
I know
apologize.
this is your baby. I got this.
That's fine. We got this. All right, so the world record in this is 9 minutes and 4 seconds. Theoretically, I can beat that record with a perfect run.
Let's do it.
Right now, it's time. Remember playing this? This is how.
Oh
easy
yeah, I
level
remember
is.
this. I actually watched your speedrun video.
Oh, you did?
Because I wanted to see
tutorial?
what I was doing wrong for the potential next time. And then I realized you just find that one line
Yep.
and then you just trot.
Just saunter. And you just walk it.
So
Oh,
Lily
no,
Lollipop
don't
Head,
stay in the same place.
I had a wonderful experience going, slightly out of bounds for grad school, but not to the point where it was a ridiculous drive home if I wanted to just see my family. That was just my opinion. I went to Radford University in Radford, Virginia, and then I went to Raleigh, North Carolina at NC State for grad school. Both Radford and Raleigh were about 3.5, 4 hours away from Eastern Virginia, where I grew up. But it was a completely different experience to go to a different place that was just several hours away. So, I mean, I have no qualms with UCF if that's what you want to do, but I do think that the graduate school experience can afford to be a little bit further away, given the time constraints that you're going to be working a lot and that you're going to be targeting specific vacation times where a 3 to 4 or 5 hour travel is completely reasonable.
Not only that, but your resume looks better if you go somewhere else. Like, we encourage all our FSU students to go somewhere else. We tend not to accept them because it's better for them. Like, you're going to get a unique letter of recommendation from 2 different schools. Like, it is worth going somewhere else. And that's not a shameless plug for FSU. That's just, I think that's universally accepted as true.
Fun fact, one of my first students in my group was from UCF. He is now postdocing for a National Academy member and about to apply for academic positions. Already getting some interest. So
good for him.
Yeah, he's doing well.
It's Billy?
Yeah, Billy. Yeah,
See
so
the car run. That's a very specific pattern. That's awesome, though.
yeah, I'm happy for
Put some academic progeny out in the world.
That's why we do it, right? I mean, that's what we want. We want to see you guys
I mean,
develop.
I do it for the big bucks.
Yeah. The long hours and the big bucks.
Exactly.
And the pinched nerves.
The twitchy eyeballs, and yes, it's a stressful job, but it's worth it. Should probably throw another prediction up.
Yeah, and I'll just cap one thing off is that, you know, we're obviously we're very partial to FSU, but we encourage you, go visit universities all over. Do it. Get a good scope of what's out there, what you like, what you don't like. You know, we hope and think that you would like FSU if you give us a chance and you come visit us. But certainly don't only come visit us. Go somewhere else. Go to multiple other places that you might be interested in, and really make a legitimate comparison there, and find out what you really like. So it's your life, and it's your 5 years, and it's your PhD. So you know you should take this opportunity as a selfish moment for you guys, for yourselves as grad students or future grad students. Be selfish, and do what you want to do, not the alma mater that your parents want you to go to, or not the place that everyone says you need to go to. Make your own decisions. So.
Yeah, and I'll plug FSU. We're willing to make that challenge, because visit them and visit us. You'll like us more. I'm willing to say that, because I did. We did that. We interviewed other places, and it was clear FSU was the home for us. But ultimately, our goal is to find the right home. Like, if your research doesn't align with anyone in our program, don't go to FSU. Find somebody you want to work for. You'll be much more productive. You'll be much happier, and we'll be happier because of it. So, yeah.
All right. We're going to go with another question about Ken here, and for another prediction.
Oh, man.
We're going to predict Professor Ken Hanson's GPA as an undergrad. Remind the audience where you went to undergraduate again.
I went to St. Cloud State University, which you've probably never heard of unless you're a hockey fan, in which case they make it to the Frozen Four regularly. So, good hockey program, not necessarily known for their chemistry. Oof, one death. It's 1.75 seconds I won't get back.
So do you think tenured Professor Ken Hanson's GPA was greater than or... Oops, the name is not compliant with our content guidelines.
What?
That's weird. You got dinged. Maybe it was that semicolon?
Interesting. GPA? Maybe put grade point, see if that's okay. It might be filtering GPA for some reason.
It's no longer red. So
it filtered GPA for some reason.
Side question: what does GPA mean outside of what we think GPA means?
No. Why does Switch filter GPA?
Yeah,
but grade point is okay. Oh God, I'm getting wrecked.
So do you think Ken had a greater or less than a 3.3 GPA as an undergraduate at St. Cloud State University in the warm tropical climate of Minnesota?
Of central Minnesota, no less.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna eat that. I'm getting wrecked here. So you watched the video, you saw the line here.
Yeah. You walk on the black line.
Daniel, welcome to the stream. If you have any questions about graduate school or speedrunning NARC, feel free to ask them now. We are happy to answer those. Particularly, we're talking about grad school tonight, so if you want to know anything, feel free to throw your comments.
Good night, Ma Pepsi.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure. It's not my best speed run. We're going to see how this... Oh, he might die before the final boss. This could be an embarrassing run. I apologize. Heard about the stream at Cermax. Awesome. You got the little bookmark thing that we handed out.
Cermax
and met with Rob
dividends.
Lazenby.
Yeah.
Daniel, thank you for joining. Yeah, we may be like 4 drinks in, but that's fine. We're willing to ask questions about graduate school.
I have 2 drinks in case any police officers are watching.
That's actually true. I am not. I'm not driving.
I'm not even through 2 drinks.
But Daniel, what do you want to know about FSU chemistry that was not answered at Cermax? We were happy to. You went to Puerto Rico. How fun was that? Did you go to Bio Bay? Because that tour is amazing. Perfect opportunity. We hope so.
So the poll has closed. 95% believe that you got higher than a 3.3.
No, my GPA was 3.2. And so that is like a bottom threshold at top tier schools. The reason I got into grad schools is because I had a paper.
Lori went big on that one.
Did she? She was confident I had more.
She has less faith in you.
Lori, congratulations. I had a 3.2 GPA. My GRE score was horrible because I just hated that exam. I couldn't sit there for 2 hours and take it. And so my research experience is what got me into graduate programs, which is pretty amazing. So across the board, I think it's true. Like, research will take you far.
Yeah.
3.2 GPA.
Did we ever ask that question to me when I was...
No, what was your GPA?
3.25.
Oh, so you were similar.
Yeah.
We're the mutts of the world. We are not the 4.0s.
Yeah, I met the bar, but I wasn't going to get into any, so-called high-grade universities. And I'm a little bit, I'm okay with that completely.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoyed everything about...
So I have one sliver of health left. Can I make it through the final boss?
I don't know.
No! Wrecked.
Oh.
All right. Rage. No initials. You don't deserve initials. You did not beat NARC.
Yeah, I mean, there's some adversity in undergrad as well.
Most thought I was over a 3.3.
Yeah. 95%.
Yeah. I was not a great student in undergrad. It wasn't until later that I figured out I wanted to go to chemistry, which is a lot of our stories.
Yeah. So I had industry experience going into grad school, and I had I think a pretty glowing letter from my boss in industry about my ability to think critically, work hard from 8 to 5, right? So that sort of padded my application. And that's the thing too, is that if you guys have something in your application, maybe your GPA isn't going to be 4.0 or 3.8 or whatever, but it's a decent GPA, and you've just got some other things that you need to brag about. Don't be shy.
Yeah.
Let us know. A graduate student takes a full package. I don't want a graduate student that's only able to regurgitate chapters of a book onto a piece of paper in an examination. I want somebody that can make common sense decisions, work diligently, approach things in a good communicative approach, maybe write well, maybe, whatever, right? So, it takes a lot of different skills to do what we do, and you should brag about yourself in that regard for those that you have.
Yeah, Daniel, absolutely apply. Depending on your GPA and other things, but any research experience is going to help you. No matter what, it's going to help you, even if it's just for a summer REU. But apply, get accepted, come visit us at FSU, and we will convince you this is the place to go for grad school.
Yeah.
If it aligns with your interests. I'll always give that qualifier. Can't believe I died on my first NARC run in like a year. Feels bad, man.
Yes. Shame. Ding, ding, shame.
Oh, no blue card. No blue card. So for those of you that don't know, I'm the former world records speedrunner in this game. Now I'm getting wrecked. It's been like 6 months. They rewrote the 1989 release of NARC.
Yeah, some old guy that wrote this game has secretly encoded like some differences now. So Ken, I have admittedly not watched all of your Ask a Scientist videos, but I know that you like to ask this questions to the guests. So I'm going to ask it to you in the insight that maybe you haven't actually said anything about it.
Huh.
What movie or TV show gets your discipline of science wrong, and which got it right?
Oh, this is my favorite question I ask every guest, because it's like you guys watch a movie and they talk about some science and they just get everything wrong, and some of them you're like surprised they get it right. And so there's some obvious ones like The Martian and Interstellar that get science right. Breaking Bad is a pretty good one. One of my favorites for molecular photophysics and spectroscopy is actually the 1980s movie Real Genius, starring who's that starring?
Yeah,
Iceman. What the hell is his name?
Yeah, what's his name?
throat cancer. Fairly recently. I think he passed away recently. Somebody knows this. Val Kilmer. Thank you, Eugene. There we go. But Val Kilmer is the main actor in that, and they have a discussion about they're essentially trying to make a laser, and there's this really cool discussion about lasing an excited state ectomer, and they like couple a state to an excited state that lasers to the ground state, and I'm like, this is all molecular photophysics, and it is glorious. So that, and it also captures grad school pretty well. Like,
so this is the one that got it right.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of absurdities and all sorts of stuff, but it's one of my favorites that actually, like, the dialogue is not unreasonable. It's like it's reasonably captures the. Oh, that was an RNG bomb that absolutely effed my complete run here. But yeah, I really like Real Genius, especially the laser, the photophysics, the grad experience. You have the hardcore non-functional nerds, you have the cool nerds. It captures the entire experience. So my answer is Real Genius. Everyone should go out and watch that movie right now. I've completely killed my speed run. Hitting that bomb with the car was it. But we'll keep going. We're 30 seconds behind the world record. It's fine.
We're going to do another prediction. I'm going to go ad hoc here.
All right.
Actually, that's not the right word.
Go ahead.
Ad lib. So I've decided to start a tradition of fun hats.
Wait, did Daniel ask something Lori was going to...
I think Daniel...
Oh, I was in an organic chemistry.
This is a good question.
Yeah,
let's divert my prediction here for this one.
Yeah.
So Daniel 4413 is asking, he did research in a certain area, or specifically organic, as an undergrad, but he might be interested in joining something like materials chemistry or something different as a graduate student. Is it possible to join a lab that you don't have that much experience in, that's outside of the experience that you might have gotten, as an undergrad? And absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Research,
especially at FSU. That is the right place that you want to do that. Sorry, go ahead.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we understand that as an undergrad, you likely, kind of fall into a research lab and experiment with research, pun intended. But you might start to develop interests in other areas, especially as you go through your senior courses and take electives. And you might think about going to grad school for something completely different than you did your research in, which might seem like you're, like wasting, some valuable skills that you've built or whatever. But I would say that's absolutely not true. As an undergrad, the most, I think that most get is the idea of experimental design and the ability to just kind of formulate the construct of an experiment and how to do it well. You get that, you can take that fundamental foundation and come to grad school and apply it towards any area of research that you're interested in. Certainly, I feel like there's not a single professor in our department that would look down upon somebody that liked their research but ended up doing a research that's different as an undergrad.
No, we accept you into the program, not into a research vein. Like, as long as you're enthusiastic, we are excited to have you.
Yeah.
I'm underperforming in my NARC gameplay right now. Anyone that came here for expert NARC is not getting the delivery I was hoping for. Lollipop Head was redeemed. Take a drink. Cheers, Lollipop Head. Hopefully you're drinking with us. Thank you for your questions. It's been awesome. Helpful and entertaining. That's what we go for, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, no, we have a lot of fun doing this, so this isn't like an obligation for us. This is arguably the easiest science outreach we do.
Yeah. And have a good night, little Lollipop Head. Thanks again.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see you in 2 weeks. We got a biologist on, so that should be pretty fun. All right, what's your prediction?
We got a first time chat. Hello, Tony Femi. Welcome. Okay, so real quick, while there's no questions presented, again, ask your questions in chat. We'll get to them. I decided to wear a fun hat today as a multiple-time guest of the Ask a Scientist Gaming. This hat actually is called a Trilby hat, and it's actually a pretty coveted hat that you can't just get anywhere. So the prediction is a Trilby hat is given at what sporting event? And the two possible question or answers are...
You didn't have your answers in.
Yeah.
It's late in the night.
A Trilby hat is given at what sporting event? Is it a horse race or a golf tournament?
Ooh. Trilby hat. I'm not going to give my answer, but I have guesses.
And so you can enter your guess by doing
Pointing. No worries. I'll live vicariously via the internet.
what is it? Prediction button is somewhere located on their screen.
If you look at the top of your chat, you can click the prediction button and make your guess. Actually, time has run out. Did you do 30 seconds?
Oh, I did do 30 seconds.
That's fine.
I
People
messed it
voted.
up.
People voted.
All right, we had some
Give them
votes.
their money.
It is exactly a 50-50 split vote here. Okay, so horse race, you do think of hats, but actually the Trilby hat is given to amateur golfers that qualify for the Trilby tournament. It's a British tournament. And this hat I'm not supposed to have because I certainly don't play golf well enough to have qualified for that tournament. But thank you to my cousin Richard in England who gave me this hat.
Oh, I died.
When I visited there. This Trilby hat is a very special. And they're usually, in the spirit of golf, kind of like a bit goofy, like the pants and all that. But more to this hat than meets the eye. And sorry about the very short opportunity to answer that question.
Yeah, no worries. It was ad hoc. I appreciate that. Got several questions to catch up.
Okay, so we've do this is great. So FSU admits students without publication. Answer is yes. Short answer. Long answer is sure. A publication is certainly going to raise our eyebrows about your application. But most students do not have a publication when they apply. So,
yeah, if you have research experience, that should come through in your cover letter, even if you don't have a published paper. Right? I did this. I worked on this. I really enjoyed this. Like, show that you have enthusiasm for research. So that was a 1027 speed run up NARC. Not great, but okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So Abdul Raf Adams, I'm going to put a link here. This link is going to take you to the graduate application website, or our website, chem.fsu.edu. But also at the top of that website, you'll find an area that says research and faculty. And so you asked, can I get access to the department faculty? I'd like to know the research that they do, because during the application, you're asked to mention 3 potential people that you would like to work with. Again, highly recommend going through the Research Active faculty on our website that I just posted in the chat. You'll find all the faculty there. Each faculty page has a sub button that says research website. So click on that and you'll get to the personalized research website of each faculty member. And you can look at not only like what they do, what their research interest is, what their publications have been recently, group members, group size, and things like that. So Huggy Beer would like to know, Ken, what is your favorite chemical reaction?
Ooh. Like the lazy and easy one is the Diels-Alder reaction. Just because it's such a elegant, simple orbital, basic organic chemistry. It's straightforward. It's easy arrow pushing. That's been my favorite since organic chemistry. I mean, of the spectrum of reactions, it's just it's used. It's not uncommon. It's useful. There's a lot of things going for it.
Yeah, I mean, Diels-Alder is a very, and it can go all retro on you as well, right? It doesn't have to be forward; it can go backward. And I love reactions that can go backwards.
Reverse Diels-Alder, thermally unannealing. useful for a lot of things, no, I love that reaction. With that said, I don't think I've ever done a published it deals all the reaction, so maybe I should rethink my priorities for...
Okay, so Daniel4413, thank you for the response earlier. Another question. So like the overview of a first-year chemistry grad student at FSU is at the beginning, we take the proficiency exam at the beginning, do rotations in labs, and then choosing a lab at the end of the first semester. So basically he's asking about kind of what the first semester looks like with proficiency exams, rotations, choosing a lab.
So we don't have any formal entrance exams where you like have to pass 3 out of 4 of them. We do a general chemistry and an organic exam, but that's primarily for assigning TA duties and who's proficient in those areas. If you do terrible on those exams, we might ask you to take a remedial course, but very few students does that ever happen to. Yeah, so that's our entrance. We don't have like you have to take the ACS exams or anything like that. And then that first semester you'll do rotations. You'll meet with, what is it, 4 faculty? Is that what we require now?
For rotations or pre-interviews?
Just pre-interviews.
Yeah, pre-interviews, I think
3 or 4.
3 or 4 faculty.
Yep.
And that involves just going in, setting a time to meet with them in their office. You know, the conversation can vary, but it's ultimately just a getting to know you and sort of the research projects that are available in the group type of situation. If that sparks your interest to the level where you think you want to dive in further with an actual research level rotation, then you would let that advisor know, and they could help schedule you for a rotational point. That could vary as well depending on the PI and what they feel that will best benefit you to sort of engage you in the research that they do. And then, you know, at the end of that process, you come to a conclusion, maybe on a top choice professor and then a second choice professor just in case. And then the sorting begins, and most of the time people get their top professor, but you have to understand that if 17 students all say the same professor is their top professor, that professor obviously cannot take 17 students. So we as a contingency plan, we make sure that you put like a second choice down just in case.
The other qualifiers at FSU, every single faculty or faculty that are taking students gives a talk in the like August or something like that. So you get an idea of what research is going on and who's taking students and what projects they're going after. So that's very useful.
Yep.
And yeah.
Thank you, Lori. 3 to 4 for the interviews, 2 to 3 for the rotation.
Car crushed.
So thank you, Lori, for the clarification. We were close.
Yeah. It changes sometimes. Oh, there we go.
I think I missed a question here.
Oh, I went in the door again. Classic amateur mistake.
So Abdurraf Adams asks, is there assistantship to successful international applicant?
So everyone at FSU, when you enter, you are going to be paid through 5 years of graduate school. So that is guaranteed that will happen. And so it'll either come in the form of RA, which the professor pays for you to do research, or it'll be a TA where you do a teaching assistantship. But no matter what, all of our students, international, domestic, are supported through their first 5 years of grad school. And even after that, 6th year, there might be a negotiation on who can get funded for an additional 6th year, but you're guaranteed funding through 5 years. There we go. Lori gave the full answer.
Yeah. Coming in facts.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Coming in hot.
It's sad how little we know about our graduate program.
No.
We're getting better, though. We learn as we go.
I learn every year something new.
Yeah.
So, Ken, what qualities do you look for in a graduate student?
Enthusiasm is the biggest one. Like, who's going to be enthusiastic about their project and who's going to work hard? Like that's the biggest driver. The students that are most successful aren't the like ones with a 4.0 GPA. Well, not necessarily the ones with a 4.0 or like a library of experience. It's the ones, and I got wrecked. It's the ones that work hard. Like, they're going to get the most stuff done. They're going to get the most out of grad school. They're going to have the most papers. And so that's the biggest one. And so when students are doing rotation with me, I say rotations are not only for you to evaluate the group, like get a feel for what they do on a day-to-day basis, social dynamics, what the PI is like, but also for them to evaluate you. Like, if you're showing up in between classes and you're spending time, it's like, that's a really good sign that you might be a good grad student. And so that's really important. And I ask my students who should join the group, and it's more often than not who's going to be most productive, who's going to match our research culture. And so that's big for me. And it's really hard for that to come through on a cover letter or CV, because there's nothing like scaling motivation. The best you can do is have research experience and have a good letter from your advisor. You, what's your...
Yeah, it's well said. Enthusiasm is a big thing for me as well. I mean, I've had sit-down interviews with grad students, and it's been like, hey, here's the research we're doing, and it's like just
the wall,
just blinking at me, right?
Yeah.
There's no questions, there's no interest, and maybe they're just trying to get my signature on the form so that they can go and work for someone else, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But I very much like questions. I don't look down upon questions, especially when you're an early graduate student. You should be asking questions all the time, and then you'll slowly learn over time that some of them are more straightforward than others. But the enthusiasm, and then there has to be a level, I think, of maturity, work ethic, and then obviously I noted this earlier. You've got to be a good teammate, respectful, not only to your colleagues but to the laboratory. Do you leave things cleaner or as good as you found it? One of the best ways to become a person that no one likes in the lab is that you go and use a community area and you leave it a mess, and the next person that comes up to use that area just walks into a mess and has no idea how it got that way. So there's a laboratory etiquette that I think is very important as well for just keeping sanity. And just generally having empathy and doing well by that.
Sorry, I needed to restart.
Oh no,
card didn't drop.
What happened to the chat? Oh, okay.
So I reset the game. Yeah. Going back to that, the line about asking questions. So this is a 100% true story. So when I applied to University of Southern California, my GPA and my GRE scores were not good enough to get in. But I reached out to Mark Thompson. I said, I'm really interested in your research. I'm interested in grad school. I have research experience. He's like, come fly out. So he had me fly out without being accepted, which I guess is really weird. But I had that Jack's paper, and he's like, I'm willing to take a chance on this. And so I had the meetings with him. I had meetings with other faculty, and those went good, and I got acceptance later. And then when I arrived at USC, I was actually paired up with the graduate student that had heard the conversation on whether I should be admitted or not. And so the admissions chair went to Mark Thompson and said, this Ken Hanson guy, his numbers are low. Should we accept him? And Mark Thompson's reply was, yes, he asked the right questions. And for him, it was like, I was curious, I was interested. I was like, can you lase organic materials? Like, all those things were like, clearly I was interested. And that was it. I got into grad school. He took a chance on me based on that interaction alone, which is amazing. And I forever owe a debt to him because it changed my career path. It changed my life, right? So yeah, ask the right questions, be interested, be curious, be enthusiastic. It'll take you far, even with a 3.2 GPA and a shitty GRE score.
Yeah. And pro tip, it's never a bad thing, not just for graduate school, but in life, for the rest of your life. If you're going into a situation and you spend just a little bit of time researching the research group or the publications,
job or the company,
oh my gosh, I'm surprised how many more students don't do this. So it's really, if you're tuning into Ask a Scientist Gaming, you're getting a real hot tip right now. If you're about to
Knowledge bombs.
If you're about to go meet with a future company that you're interviewing with, or a professor that you're about to show that you're really interested in doing research with, and you spend a quality amount of an hour just going through the research website and learning a little bit of the vocabulary about what they do. You don't have to know it that well.
Even 5 minutes will put you above everyone else.
Just some catchwords.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It shows us that you've actually taken the effort to go and look at our research page on our website.
And this is true with emails you send to faculty. I get a dozen emails from postdoc applicants every week, and most of them say nothing of interest to me. But some of them say, I'm really interested in your work in upconversion of metal ion linked multilayers. I'm like, you read at least a sentence from my webpage.
Yeah.
I will look further.
Which is like more than most.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's like the minimum bar of like you did some homework.
Yeah.
No card. What is this game? RNG is just effing me right now. Because you're not familiar, RNG is a random number generator. It's a random card drop. Anyway, ethanol.
Yeah, we know it's making it worse.
Daniel, do you have any advice on writing my personal statement?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah. I mean, say the things you need to say. Spend some time proofreading. If it's poorly written, it gives us a sampling of what your ability is as a writer. So it's worth actually writing a good personal statement. Descriptions of research statements and your enthusiasm about research and your drive to be a publication machine, things like that are helpful. Any problems you have, like bad GPA for a given semester or something like that, it should be noted there. Yeah. Oh, too fast. Laura, you're right. I do have Tourette's while I'm playing NARC. You should see me when I'm playing like a multiplayer online game. I will never do that on stream. Far too much rage involved. That rage. I showed Justin the emotes button.
You never showed me the emotes button.
Where's Eugene with the emotes? He has a gift sub right now.
Yeah, yes. He's saving them for just the right moment.
All right. 10:45. Do we have any predictions left, or did we use them all?
No, we do have some.
Let's use them. We got 15 minutes.
One. Let's see. That one we did. Wait. I think like more here. No, I deleted it. That's what happened.
Yeah. Oh, I'm completely looking away and getting wrecked right now.
Yeah, so this is, I think, the only one left.
Yeah.
About. Unless you can think of one on the fly.
No, I'm thinking of nothing but my mediocre NARC speedrun right now.
Okay, so, some could feel this to be a matter of opinion question, but I'm betting we can give you a whole lot of statistics.
No, this is a real, there's a real answer to this question.
So what do you think is the better predictor of graduate performance? And so what we mean by that is, like, when you come to grad school, you're going to have some metrics associated with your application. And how does that translate into what might potentially be a successful graduate school performance? And so I'm going to make sure I put 2 minutes this time.
Give them some time.
And then here we go. Okay, so 2 minutes. Better predictor of grad school performance. Do you think it's GRE or GPA? Got an immediate flood for GPA. GRE is making a comeback.
It's fun to watch in real time, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I like. I like the betting because it's a confidence interval based
In
thing.
real time. Let me just check on the World Series real quick. Don't take my mouse.
Sorry.
Must know.
All right, we're gonna get a World Series.
Oh, the Astros have gone up 5-0 in the 7th. Man.
Bottom of the 7th, no less. Ouch.
All right, you can have the mouse now.
No worries. Hit the reset button. But Daniel, I don't know if I said this. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for joining us on Ask a Scientist Gaming. All right, let's do this. I got this. I have at least 2 runs left in me.
Have you gotten to Mr. Big yet?
I got a 10:30. So my best time right now is like a 10:27 or something like that. But this is pretty mediocre.
I don't think you should have started with Scotch.
In retrospect, I should have started with NARC and not be full of scotch right now, because it is making a difference. It is a performance enhancer, though.
Eugene has given you an official ethanol emoji.
Thank you, Eugene, for making your gift sub worthwhile. But yeah, turns out in things like archery, you can't take ethanol. It's actually a performance enhancing drug because it actually calms your nerves and makes you shake less.
No,
so
really?
Yeah. No, it's a real thing.
You don't say.
Yeah. So ethanol, I don't know what it does for speed running, but it's not helping me out a whole lot at this point. But I do like to drink casually when I'm playing.
I tell you, when I was really into Modern Warfare, like the online, like poning some noobs, I would never drink alcohol, because that one that 0.3 second delay time reaction was everything, right? Yeah. So I would be all hopped up on Red Bull and Surge and whatever I could get my hands on, but never alcohol.
Yeah. God, wrecked. 2 syringes in a row.
Chem Spider 96, thanks for the question. How are the professor-student relationships in your department typically? I've heard of a few programs where professors typically avoid interacting with their students at all costs.
Oof, that's brutal. I would say it depends on the professor and the student, but in general at FSU, it's a much more intimate relationship. So if you go to somewhere like a big dog school like Northwestern, you're going to have 25 grad students in a group. And a professor just cannot know those students, cannot interact with those students regularly. They just don't have time. Whereas we have, 5 to 8 grad students, and we know every one of them. We know about their life. We know who they're dating. Like we know that. We know where their research is, just because those conversations happen. And so I'd say it's very, for the most part, most faculty, it's a healthy relationship. Sometimes it can be bad, but for the most part, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, and my only follow-up to that would be that I think students sometimes are timid to ask professors questions during that said interview process. When you start as a graduate student at a program, you do these interviews with faculty, they're very preliminary interviews. A very legitimate question that you can ask a professor, it's actually a very good question, is how do you interact with your students? What's your preferred style of advising? Those 2 questions right there are perfect questions to ask, because some professors, they prefer to be hands-off. Yep. They want you to figure it out. Maybe that's the way they did it when they were in grad school, and they feel it's the most effective method is to just, be hands-off and let you figure it out. And then other professors could be very much more micromanaging. And you have to understand what I think type of advising style meshes with you. Right? Do you want a micromanager? Are you going to perform better if someone's telling you what to do all the time? Like next step. Are you going to perform better if they just get out of your way and let you, maybe fail as much as you need to and then figure it out? So it's okay to ask those types of questions.
And the follow-up on that is it's great to ask the professor, but I'd argue more important is to ask the students in the group. Because we have delusions of our own self-worth and importance in how we interact with students, but the reality of how we actually interact, it can be very different from what our perceived reality is. And so ask the students, they're going to give you an idea of what their life is actually like. And not only that, ask students that are not in that group, ask students that are in other groups, what have you heard about this interaction? And take some of that with a grain of salt, because it could be rumors and made up, but sometimes it's useful information. So yeah, that interaction is really, really important. That's not just a 5-year grad school interaction. That is a lifelong partnership. I presented at the same conference as Mark Thompson 3 months ago. And that was and he had 2 grad students present. Me and Cody Schlenker presented at the Gordon Donor Acceptor, and we're his progeny. But we get to meet up with him and have beers and drink, and it's a lifelong relationship. So it's something to not take lightly. That's for sure. Oh, come on. I jumped over that car.
Great questions, by the way.
This is really fun.
Really good audience.
Yeah. We should save these for our FAQs page. It's a good audience putting up with this mediocre NARC gameplay.
Do you feel like you're letting everyone down? Right now?
I'm letting myself
You probably
down.
had such high expectations for this moment for the last week.
I haven't played this for 6 months. Like I had the world record and it got beaten. I just haven't played it since. So should have higher standards, but I don't.
So Abdul Rafa Adams has a question. Certainly sounds like a competitive application process. Interested in exploring the institution, but the English proficiency exam and application fee is a barrier to complete the application. So, is there any help that the department can render?
What program are you from? Like, is it an English speaking PhD?
Nigeria.
I mean, chances are you did your PhD in English. I think we have a waiver for that. And Lori can comment more on this. I don't remember the official rules, but if your PhD was obtained in a classroom, oh God, were you to have classes in English, it waives those proficiency requirements. And I think we have God, I'm just getting wrecked by this car.
That's what cars do.
that is when they're driven by Mr. Big, obviously.
Yeah.
Did we give an answer for the prediction? No, we didn't.
Oh, we did.
Do it.
Yeah. So
thank you, Eugene.
So choose outcome.
Oh, there's your answer. Lori just said, being from Nigeria, your English proficiency requirement is waived, so you don't have to do the TOEFL or whatever the other IELTS score is.
All right, so better predictor of graduate performance after a 17-minute wait is the GPA.
GPA, by far. The GRE does not predict anything, and we've had this fight in our department many times over the last several years. The research says GPA, far more important GRE. GRE really doesn't predict anything, which is why most programs are getting rid of it. In fact, if a program keeps the GRE, you guys should question the value of their application process because they are clearly not following the evidence. So that's the most cynical I will go tonight because that is near and dear to my heart, obviously. What a fun question.
Yeah. Case in point, I think you mentioned earlier, and also true for me, that I didn't have anything exceptional from the GRE.
Yeah.
I did okay.
No.
But it didn't it certainly didn't show that I was capable of reaching this level. Right? And I remember the verbal was just like ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. No, and the research shows this over and over again. There is no correlation between GRE score and performance in grad school. It's far more likely to predict your area code or your parents' income attainment or degree attainment. It has nothing to do with your actual skill or potential in graduate school. And so that's why we and many others have gotten rid of the GRE requirement. And so yeah, this is one of those trigger topics for me. It's ridiculous that we even included it.
Dude, we're getting some excellent, thoughtful questions here. So Chem Spider 96 wants to know, if you join a lab initially, but after a year or so you realize you want to switch or you just don't vibe with that choice, right, with that group, is switching labs okay? And is there a time frame or, quote, latest date to switch?
No, changing groups is absolutely okay. I mean, I think most faculty will say we want to find the right home for you, and if that's not the home you initially thought, that's fine. Change groups. You want to do that as early as possible, just because the later you change them, you're starting over in a new program, a new endeavor, a new thesis, essentially. So the sooner you do that, the less time it takes you overall to graduate. In terms of hard deadlines, I don't think at FSU we have anything formal yet. We have talked about if you want to change groups after your third year, it's probably best if you masters out and maybe apply again to the PhD program and essentially start over. But I don't think that's formally written in stone yet. And so that is not a hard deadline as far as I know for our program. But yeah, it's something for the good of you and your career, you want to make that decision in the first 2 years because it'll give you much more time to pursue the program that you want. And so if something's not vibing and you know that right away, I strongly encourage you to change groups as early as possible. Sorry, focusing on car. All right, we're good. But yeah, that's, again, we want you to find the right home. That's ultimately the goal, because the right home will make you much, much more productive. I would like to formally complain that you made me argue the department that we weren't replacing the GRE with other metrics of performance. You are absolutely right, Eugene, because we could pick any arbitrary metric of performance and it would be as good of a predictor as a GRE. We could have them put blood pressure on their application, date of birth, birth animal, horoscope, like whatever. The GRE is as effective as those in predicting your quality of performance. So yeah, sorry to leave you out hanging. I apologize. I was traveling. I would have happy had that fight. There are a few things that I will hold strongly to, and that is one of them. So thank you for doing that, taking on the department for me. Hopefully it wasn't too much of a debate. But dot.
Thank you, Eugene, for keeping us on track here. Yeah, so I didn't hear what Ken answered, but also this emphasizes the point that I would make to ask questions before you make your decision.
Effed again by RNG.
Talk to the research group that you're going to join. Make sure that you get along with the students, that it gel, that it fits natural. You know, you're not going to get along with everyone at all times, and there might be one odd person in the group that you're less, that might seem less friendly than the rest or whatever. But give it a good feel when you go to grad school. You're given a whole sort of 3 months to investigate laboratories and make a decision on who you want to work with. And I'm not going to lie, it is a little bit of a setback if you do join a research group, start a research project, go through a year and a half of the experience of learning, and then suddenly switch up, right? So you're going to kind of hit a reset button, but the clock is still ticking. So you do want to make sure that you ask important questions that are important to you during the courtship process, right? Yeah.
All right, we have about, we'll say 4 minutes left in this speed run. So if anyone has any last minute questions they want answered about graduate school or polymer chemistry or photochemistry, we are happy to answer those right now. Not questions about NARC, because I'm absolutely bombing this. I blew up the car on an RNG bomb, but we will answer questions about the rest. This is your last moment. Also, if you have suggestions about people that we should raid after this stream, feel free to throw those in chat. If you're watching and not clicking the follow button, you should click the follow button. Even if you never go on Twitch again, it gives us additional viewers and visibility. We always want to get our science out there. So yeah, feel free to click the follow button right now. No.
Follow. That's what you were hoping.
Yeah, exactly. 18 followers right now. So you watched the full tutorial on this, the speedrun tutorial? That is the most detailed I have ever gotten in any video game. It's the...
Huggy Beer has requested a factoid.
Oh, man. All right. We're not going to do a graduate school factoid. This will just be a fun science factoid. So you know those silica gel packets that come in phones or whatever electronics you buy or whatever, and it says do not eat?
Yeah.
The reason it says do not eat is not because it's toxic, but actually because it's a choking hazard. So those are typically small enough to get stuck in your throat and they're paper, and they actually can get stuck there and choke you. So the silicon oxide in those is not toxic. You can eat those. You can actually readily eat that. So if you crack it open, you can eat it. But as a packet, you don't want to eat those silica packets.
All right.
So
I ate a packet.
when you were younger or last week?
I'm okay.
You survived? Oh,
it was in college.
Yeah.
I was
as a dare?
I was in the right mind, and it said do not eat, and I said don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And I ate it.
And you knew silica oxide, it's just sand, right? It's not bad for you.
It's a desiccant.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to dry out your stomach a little bit, but it's not going to take too much water. So yeah, eat your silica gel
went
packet.
downhill on good advice. This went way downhill on good advice.
Yeah.
They're like Tide Pods. I'm gonna eat those.
Don't eat Tide Pads. Those have bad things. Those are toxic. But silica gel packets are edible. Just don't do it because you might choke. That's
so,
true.
Korean 22, last minute question here. pretty good one about the TA assignments. You know, how many students are assigned to you, but more or less, like, what is the diversity of what a TA does as a person in the department?
As a first-year grad student, you're going to TA typically general chemistry lab or organic chemistry lab. And those are like just the defaults, because we don't necessarily know what your expertise is. We don't know which direction you're going to go. So those are the easiest to assign you to. So if you show a proficiency for organic in the exam, plus you're interested in organic chemistry groups, chances are you're going to TA organic chemistry. But the rest of you, it's going to do general chemistry. And that's not bad. That's one of the easier assignments.
Yep. And there's multiple types of assignments of TA. So, for example, you could be a laboratory TA, which means that you are teaching the laboratory, grading laboratory reports, and then providing that feedback back to the students. You can also be assigned with recitation, which means that you assist a professor in the lectureship of an actual like university course rather than a laboratory course. And so there's a bit of variability to that, but in any case, it's no matter what, when you're an early graduate student, it's just a great opportunity to refresh your memory on some of these fundamental concepts that you learned in one class during one semester during your 4 to 5 years as an undergrad, and can go back and revisit. So,
come on, Big.
Lori wants to know whether or not the 300 units that Huggy Beer spent was worth hearing that you should eat desiccant.
You can eat desiccant. You can eat silica packets. All right, I'll give you another one. I actually had some written down.
There you go.
Fight Mr. Big.
There you go. You want me to read one out loud?
Yeah. No, I got this.
I'll just give you like a tip of what it's about. Vegetable edible part.
Isoamyl acetate. This was a fun one that I learned recently. That isoamyl acetate is the molecule that gives banana bread its smell. Which so the banana smell comes from isoamyl acetate, which is really fun. It's just a acetic acid derivative. But what's really cool about that is I actually use that molecule to test gas masks. Because for whatever reason, our sensory perception is really sensitive to that banana smell. And so that's actually our test for gas masks. And so I imagine they'd use something like that if they wanted to like label methane and stuff so you could smell methane because it doesn't have an intrinsic smell. But then it would smell good. So they use sulfur instead. So you can actually smell that natural gas smell you smell is not the gas itself. It's an additive they have. It's sulfur reagent. And so they could just as easily... Exactly. It's a mercaptan, a sulfur reagent that biologically we know sulfurs are bad because it's like decomposition and rotten and sulfur gas and all sorts of things. But one could just as easily make banana smelling natural gas, which is kind of fun.
Ethyl mercaptan is, in fact, the most sensitive molecule to your olfactory receptors.
Yeah.
In fact, here's another fun factoid. If you were to actually take a heavy dose of ethyl mercaptan to the nose, your nose would shut down being able to smell it. Yeah.
For days.
It's just
it
like
wrecks you.
So there are scientists out there, particularly in the earlier days, that worked with a lot of sulfur. Maybe they were vulcanizing tires and stuff like that. And they could not smell anything, but they would reek to the people around them. Like when they would go have a beer after work, they would just reek of like this sulfury smell, and they couldn't smell it because their olfactory receptors had been completely sort of shut down from overload. So there's a factor. That was worth
piggybacked on.
There we go.
There's your 300 points. Thanks, Lori. We learned something. Knowledge bombs dropped. All right, everyone. So I think that's the end of it. It's 11:07. Our time is spent. Thank you for swinging by. It's been a pleasure. Time flies. It's been a lot of fun playing video games, answering questions, discussing with you guys. Hanging out, drinking beer, playing video games is always a good time. But yeah, thank you guys for swinging by. Thank you for the follows. Hopefully you enjoy your time here. Again, apply for FSU Chemistry. It's awesome having you guys ask questions, and hopefully we see your applications, and hopefully you come and visit. Let us know if this was useful. We're happy to hear from you guys because we'll gladly do this every single year. So yeah, that's Ask a Scientist Gaming. We're going to figure out somebody to raid, but For those of you not familiar with the stream, typically we have a guest on every other Wednesday night. It's disciplines across chemistry, physics, biology, whoever wants to come on. In 2 weeks, we'll have Jerome Iranato. He is a biologist in the biology department at Florida State University. He does mechanobiology, is particularly applied to cancer biology. And so mechanobiology is this idea of there's mechanical forces on cells that causes distortions and mechanical processes that make changes in cancer cell replication and things like that. And so, yeah, interesting area I know nothing about, so I'm excited to see what he has to say in 2 weeks from now. So join us again. I think that's the 16th of November. But yeah, it's a pleasure. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email me or Justin or Lori. I mean, we're happy to answer.
Yeah, happy to answer. Maybe not immediately, but
we'll get to it, I promise.
Yeah.
Justin, any parting words for the audience?
Well, thank you for letting me host, Ken.
Yeah,
am I the first guest host?
Eugene has done it once.
Damn you, Eugene.
Yeah, so I've been the guest once before, so well, you are the second.
I'll take second place.
But it's been a pleasure, everyone. Stick around. We're going to figure out somebody to raid, probably science and technology, but we'll figure it out as we go. But yeah, until next time, it's been a pleasure, and thank you for joining us at Ask a Scientist Gaming.